Stretch your arms, let the world collide. Step outside where the grass is free. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find. Walk the path where the flowers lead. Hear the whispers of a world serene. Feel the warmth of a gentle breeze. Let your troubles drift with ease. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find. Walk the path where the flowers lead. Hear the whispers of a world serene. Feel the warmth of a gentle breeze. Let your troubles drift with ease. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find. Guitar hums in a mellow tune under the glow of the afternoon. Every chord a soothing embrace, guiding you to a tranquil place. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find.
You're always online, chasing the thrill. In the dark corners where nightmares are real. Whispers and shadows, stories unfold. Innocence lost and the secrets they hold. Reach out and touch grass. Leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass. Feel the earth, feel alive. Sensational headlines, the dramas you muse. Capturing moments, the heartbreak you choose. Behind every story, a life to reclaim. Remember the human, not just the name. Reach out and touch grass. Leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass. Feel the earth, feel alive. Spotlights glow, don't forget to breathe. Disconnect to reconnect, it's okay to leave. Step away, take a break, find some peace of mind. True crime and drama, but balance you'll find. Reach out and touch grass. Leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass. Feel the earth, feel alive. More than stories that keep you up at night. Ground yourself, find the light. Everything's alright. Reach out and touch grass. You'll be just fine. Breathe deep, step away. It's your time to shine. Reach out and touch grass. Leave the grass. Feel the earth, feel alive. You're always online, chasing the thrill. In the dark corners where nightmares are real. Whispers and shadows, stories unfold. Innocence lost and the secrets they hold. Reach out and touch grass. Leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass. Feel the earth, feel alive.
Okay, I'll get it there in a minute. Y'all know have to know it's been a couple days. It's been a couple days. Hi, welcome in. It is what is today? Today is February 23rd. Ooh. Okay, what a thought. Didn't realize today's date. It's not a date I like. Welcome in. Hi, I'm Sheila. Welcome, Rubber Ramada Room. I have an extra large coffee today. And yes, we do have the squishy duck because this will be wild. And who do we have here? Forrest was the first one in here. Welcome, Forrest. You said you're going to be in the replay crew, in the rewatch crew, but that's okay. You're still going to get all the recognition because you were the first in the duck pond. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And you'll be back. You'll replay anyways. So anyways, how is everybody? Salty Mama, good afternoon. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's 3:50 according to my clock on my computer, but we all know that my clock on my computer is wrong and I cannot fix it. I've gone in and manually fixed it, and it just doesn't stay fixed. It doesn't stay fixed. Good afternoon. And Journey, welcome in, Journey. So everybody, if y'all know, I just pop in, say hi. We're going to run the intro, which is less than a minute long. It gives the trigger warnings. I got to add the bark warnings to my intro because, yeah, y'all know we have the dogs, Meet and Lola, and they're loud. They always bark. It is what it is. So if you're part of the Rubber Ramada crew and you're out there, y'all all know my dogs bark. So bark warning, but let me roll the intro and we will jump right into it with the first thing. We always start with something food and then we jump into the stream. So let's do that. Let's roll the intro.
The Rubber Ramada Room welcomes all. Thanks for stopping by, answering the call. Ups and downs are normal for some of us. Many days I bet to get off this life bus. Neon lights flicker, my shadow on the wall. Dreams on the ceiling, we run and then we fall. Sharing stories over paper cups. Wheels keep turning but never enough. Life's a ride on a rickety old track. Holding on tight, never looking back. In the Rubber Ramada Room we confide. Rock, climb, love in this crazy ride. Dusty postcards from the edge of nowhere. Heartbeats echo in the electric air. We dance on tables without to wait. Cry in the Rubber Ramada Room, we're all high.
Okay, look at there. See, it already switched over before I could even get everything finished out. Whew. My words are not wording today. Y'all know, we have some great words that work. Some days they don't. So anyways, we're going to start with, here, let's make this, let me put me over here. First thing, we always start off with something food. food thing today is peanut butter recall here. Here we go. There we go. We'll put me there for now. So there's a peanut butter recall, and we're talking 40 states of foreign material contamination. It was originally initiated in April 25 and was recently upgraded on February 12th. Y'all, we have food problems, okay? Y'all know we always got to start with something food before we jump into the whole shit show of what we're going to do. So I do have a small video on it, and all these videos at the end of this lost stream. Damn it. Okay, StreamYard, we're not going to play this today, StreamYard. We are not going to play this today. Okay, let's try this again. So I'm going to play this beautiful young lady, and as y'all know, all the words, Sheila, words, all of the videos that I use will be in the description box below at the end of the stream. So Journey says, you know, I'm from Brookshire, about 15 minutes from, ooh, girl, I even have a video of the new place that former Prince Andrew has acquired, and they're not happy. Some of his neighbors are like, we might have tea. Some of them are like, we don't want to have tea. I have that video too. It's really cute. Hey, beautiful people. Our Cindy from sunny South Florida, always coming in with her beautiful people. Okay, we're going to watch this real quick. Let's see. We got volume up.
Peanut butter lovers, heads up. Over 22,000 peanut butter products are being recalled in 40 states. And no, it's not just your crunchy or smooth. It's got a little extra blue plastic. California-based Ventura Foods LLC is recalling single-serve peanut butter and jelly products sold under food service and DYMA brand labels. The FDA says the recall started after pieces of blue plastic were found in a production filter. The recall first began back in April 2025, but on February 12th, the FDA upgraded to a Class 2 recall. That means exposure could cause temporary health issues, but serious problems are very unlikely. Ventura Foods says the recalled items were not sold directly to consumers. They went to restaurants, schools, and other food service locations across the country. The company acted very quickly to remove potentially impacted products back in April. The products include creamy peanut butter packets from half an ounce up to just over an ounce, plus twin packs with strawberry or grape jelly. The FDA has a full list of affected states online, and Ventura Foods urges all distributors and retailers to immediately stop selling.
Okay, and when I got to looking, oh my God, there's so many things involved in this recall. Let me see. Let me see if they have it on this page. All these states: Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Mississippi, Montana, North Carolina, North Dakota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, Nevada, New York, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, Virginia, Wisconsin, and did y'all hear all that? All these states. So y'all lay off the peanut butter for a little bit because there's some kind of blue plastic foreign material in it. I don't know. So, all right. Okay. And our one animal funny before we get into the doghouse, because this man, we're going to a doghouse with former Prince Andrew. So we have to have that one funny before we get there. And I chose this just for allegedly.
Seriously, what did we ever do to you, dogs?
I mean, nothing personal.
Then why does it feel personal?
Bro.
I know. Okay, drop allegedly's thing in the chat for anybody that doesn't rubber the list where it wasn't distributed. Y'all, I just thought it'd be impressive for me to read off that list as fast as I could. Okay. Yeah, anyways, one of the mods, you can drop this.
Seriously, what did we ever do to you, dogs?
I mean, Nothing personal.
Then why does it feel personal?
Bro, you run like you owe us money.
Seriously, what did we ever do to you, dogs?
I mean,
We'll let it play one
nothing
more time.
personal.
Then why does it feel personal?
Bro, you run like you owe us money.
Okay. Okay. Enough of the crazy. We're going to go totally crazy. So this was actually 12 days ago. This was before Boothang got arrested. This was before. Okay. So this was 12 days ago. So I know I couldn't help it. You run like you owe us money. Okay. So anyways, this was 12 days ago before he was arrested. I'm going to pop up a little overlay because they're being kind of funky about some of these videos. So you see in the light, it's kind of light. It's still up there. It's not, I hope it doesn't seem distracting to me, and it shouldn't be distracting to anybody else. So we're going to kind of play with this for a little bit and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to stop and I'm going to read through it. Yeah, it's Lola. Lola, actually, my son just brought in the water and she heard him walking through the kitchen. So, and I don't know, but one and only PG keeps putting cinnamon rolls and they're in vertical. Enjoy your cinnamon rolls in vertical. Thank you. Maybe this is this a cinnamon roll? Oh, no. Oh, no. But thank you. Hi. Welcome for being over there. Welcome. Anyways, so I'm going to read through this. So this was, like I said, 12 days ago. U.S. lawmakers urged Andrew to testify over the Epstein files. But I think it was a day late and dollar short. U.S. lawmakers have called on Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor to testify in the United States about his links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna told the BBC the royal family had not been transparent and said that Andrew appearing before Congress would be appropriate. Congresswoman Teresa Ledger Fernandez urged King Charles III to direct his brother to answer the questions before Congressional Oversight Committee. And here's that famous picture. Andrew has denied wrongdoing and reached an out-of-court settlement in 2022 with accuser Virginia Giuffre without admitting liability. And you see, we got Ghislaine standing there looking all like, ooh, look, I put these two together. Okay. I know, right? Poor Virginia. Buckingham Palace said the royal family was ready to support police inquiries while expressing concern for victims of abuse. Those beautiful children. Thames Valley Police said it was assigning a complaint related to Andrew's alleged sharing of confidential information with Epstein during his time as trade envoy. U.S. authorities have previously attempted to secure Andrew's cooperation, but he cannot be compelled to subpoena to testify in the United States. Pressure has intensified following the release of millions of new Justice Department documents renewing scrutiny of Andrew's past association with Epstein. Okay, so this was 4 days ago. This is when he was arrested. Hang on, let's watch this one instead. Okay, this is from Dan Wooten, Outspoken. We're going to watch part of this, and I will drop this in the chat. So if you don't want to listen to my commentary, yeah, this could end badly. Prince Andrew looks wired after 12-hour in police custody. And shocking new photo.
We have the first image of Andrew leaving Aylsham police station in a Range Rover. He does not look a well man, does he?
Well, Dan, I think both you and I know that Andrew's mentally health, has been pretty dreadful in all of this.
Yes, it has.
And there is the possibility that
I feel concern, actually, as I'm watching this story unfold. There is
and again, me, because I always talk about mental health, that was my fear. And now, and I'm going to tell y'all something else. Hannah had brought it to my attention, which I did not think about this beforehand. The fact that this is going to it doesn't just affect him. Again, we go back to the discussion of who else does this affect? He has children. When he loses his line, his successor line, what happens to his children? I mean, there's so many things that have come to light with all this that's going on. And again, his mental health. I mean, yeah, he did all this, but it's not only his mental health. We're talking about his kids, other people involved. I have a video too of not Prince Charles. Oh, Prince Charles, dude, I'm a few years back. King Charles, that he was not aware of it. Hang on. What is she chewing? Tyler, can you get that? She just chew your daddy's shoe up.
mental health question.
She could have the blood of somebody on her hands. She's backtracking.
Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has now been released from police custody. This has happened in the last few minutes.
Look at that photo. Yeah. It's Lola, and her dad's going to be mad. Hopefully he's not listening and my phone won't ring anytime soon. But yeah, she just chewed up his Nike house shoes. Anyways, doesn't he look horrible laying here? He looks like in complete disarray here. Like, what is even happening to him?
And we have the first image of Andrew leaving Aylsham police station in a Range Rover. He is appearing to lie slightly back in his seat. And I'm just going to show you, we've got another image of him here, Lady C. He does not look a well man, does he? Are you concerned, Lady C? Even Emily Maitlis, I mean, we'll come to this in a moment, but even Emily Maitlis, who conducted that interview with Andrew, now concerned about the mental health of the prince. We certainly don't want another suicide on our hands after the death of Jeffrey Epstein, which I personally don't believe for a single second was suicide. But what's your reaction to seeing, I mean...
Wait, what, sir? What, sir? What? Okay, send me that short, Abellis.
That is a...
I'm sorry. I need to make sure I heard what I thought I heard.
The moment, but even Emily Maitlis, who conducted that interview with Andrew, now concerned about the mental health of the prince. We certainly don't want another suicide on our...
Another? Hello? Another? Wait, what? What does he know already that we're afraid this is going to be another? We know he's not. We know he didn't kill himself. We know Epstein's not. I know he was here, but she's cooking. Shh.
Our hands after the death of Jeffrey Epstein, which I personally don't believe for a single second was suicide. But what's your reaction to seeing? I mean, that is a stark image of Andrew having just been released from the police station today after 12 hours of questioning on his 66th birthday.
Well, Dan, I think both you and I know that Andrew's health, mentally health, has been pretty dreadful in all of this.
Yes, it has.
And there is the possibility that this could end very badly. And I mean, if we have due process and if things are done fairly, so, you know, the chips need to fall where they may.
Thank you, Bellis.
But my concern has always been why, when you have President Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Bill Gates, Casey Wasserman, Les Wexner, when you have all those huge power players worldwide, has it always been only Andrew who was the focus of attention? I mean, I'm not trying to justify anything that he might have done that he shouldn't have done. I just question, why has he been the whipping post? Why has he been the poster child of all of this?
What? I'm sorry, what? Why is
that he might have done that he shouldn't have done? I just question, why has he been the whipping post? Why has he been the poster child of all of this?
But no, ma'am. What? It wasn't just him, but right now, my first, that was my thought. Why not? He did part of it, so, but everybody else is coming to light too. Who? Yeah, it wasn't just Andrew, but he, right now, that's the one they're focusing on. There's other ones that are coming to light too. And I've got that video pulled up. We're going to watch that one in a second, Cindy, that you sent me too. Right, here you go, Hio, because you're the weakest link. People are stronger than you. Game will eat you alive. Yeah. Maybe I need to let her talk a little bit more before I just jump to my reaction thoughts. Yes, Lord Mandelson stepped down a few days ago. He's just Peter now and was arrested today. So I think we have that one too.
Because Virginia Giuffre's own evidence was that she got on a plane from Florida. Her father took her to the
Lola
airport. She came to England, so she did it of her own accord. She was 17 years old, which
Hannah,
is over the age of consent here.
Hannah, this question for you.
According to her,
she hasn't said who
Epstein
she is.
then paid her $15,000 for the information she gave him about the outcome of the evening. Now, as I told Andrew Loney when I read his book, I said, you know, Andrew, in your book, you actually exonerate Andrew, because you say in your book that your inquiries show that he left Trump and went back to the palace, while Virginia Giuffre's evidence was that he went back to Kinnerton Street, where what she then received a reward for, she asserted, took place.
Okay, I need to move on. I have another video that I wanted to play, but I was waiting. It's further down succession of all this, but now, and this one's only like 6 minutes long, y'all. We're still on Prince Andrew, but we're gonna listen to this real quick because she just side railed me with that. This was an NBC from the Today Show 6 years ago. This was, and here we go with some conspiracy more stuff. I'm going to pull me off so we can see the whole thing. It's an NBC exclusive, September 20th, 2019. That Savannah Guthrie sat down with 6 women who had assault allegations against Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so that's what this is about. Okay, let me put my screen back to where I was, and we will watch this. After he, I don't even want to hear anymore what that lady was saying, because now I want to go watch this, because this explains her story, how she put it in her words.
Everything. The only solace for me is that when a group of people who've experienced trauma of this kind come together united against a common enemy, there's a very special bond between us all.
A painful bond shared among these 6 women sitting together for the first time for an exclusive interview with NBC News.
I find it very comforting to be here.
Marika Chartouni, Anushka DeGiorgio, and Rachel K. Benavidez sharing their stories about Epstein for the first time on television.
I think the nature of this kind of abuse means that you're conditioned to be silent, to be isolated, secretive, and shameful.
Thank you,
I feel
Tracy.
like, it was a big game for him, and we were the pieces of his game.
And you're like, I'm just not going to say anything because that's what he told me to do.
The women all have familiar stories of grooming, promises, and then sexual assault.
I can relate to pretty much every person sitting here next to me.
Virginia Giuffre says Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her one summer when she was working as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago. In her first broadcast interview, Virginia tells NBC News what she has previously alleged in court filings, that Epstein directed her to also have sex with a number of powerful men, among them Britain's Prince Andrew.
He was an abuser. He was a participant.
Virginia says she was 17 when this photo was taken with the prince in Maxwell's London townhome, next to the bathroom where she says he sexually abused her.
What happened? The first time in London, I was so young.
And not to totally squirrel, but there are rumors circulating that all the Nancy Guthrie stuff, totally squirreling here. The Nancy Guthrie stuff has stuff to do with Savannah Guthrie and being in the Epstein and being involved. Again, swirling conspiracy theories. I don't know what's true. I can't tell you what's true, but this was the interview that she did, that Savannah Guthrie did with Virginia Giuffre.
Young, Keelan woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today."
Could you imagine being, okay, just picture it, okay? I mean, emotionally, being 17 years old, and this woman comes and tells you, you are going to meet a prince today. Who the fuck wouldn't be excited? Who would not be excited? Who wouldn't stop and say, oh, hell yeah, let me on that train. Hello, Duck Pond, here we come, because, we're all going to hang out. Bring your lawn chairs and shit. There's a princess coming. I'm going to invite all my buddies. Let's all hang out. Y'all, guess who I met? I met a prince. You're 17. You're 17. Who isn't enticed at 17 to be thinking, I'm going to meet a prince? I mean, in reality, I'm speaking realistically, a 17-year-old.
Maxwell's London townhome, next to the bathroom where she says he sexually abused her.
What happened? The first time in London, I was so young. Keelan woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And
She's 17. Why is he buying her alcohol? Hello? Does anybody else have a problem with that? Nah. Let's all just hang out and buy teenagers alcohol and do all these sexually explicit things to them. Oh.
I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And Ghislaine said he's coming back to the house. And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein.
And if I remember correctly, it was a massage therapist is what she was. I think that's my makeup delivered. Hey, bud, can you go get the Walmart delivery, please? Thank you. Yeah, so at this point, yuck.
I couldn't believe it.
Virginia says the abuse moved from the bathroom to a bedroom.
He wasn't rude or anything about it. He said, thank you, and some kind of soft sentiments like that, and left. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
She says Prince Andrew abused her 2 more times. Once in.
Good question, Cindy. Cindy has a good. Hannah, you're my resident UK that can answer some of these. Are the laws different in England for alcohol and minors? Not trying to put you on the spot, Hannah, but I know that you could probably answer these quicker than me looking it up. Gamer Guy said, wait, I wouldn't say, yes, she is deceased. She is deceased. She has passed away. You can drink at 18. Okay.
New York in Epstein's mansion, and again at his Virgin Islands estate.
Prince Andrew, of course, denies that this ever happened.
He denies that it ever happened, and he's going to keep denying that it ever happened. But he knows the truth, and I know the truth.
What do you say if people think this is about money for you, that you're trying to get money and have gotten money?
Well, unfortunately, there's this horrible law called statute of limitations. My lawyer said the way to get Ghislaine Maxwell held accountable, the way to get Jeffrey Epstein held accountable is through the.
And we will pause there to remind everybody that they are currently trying to pass the Virginia Giuffre law to where there is no limitations on this.
I'm saying I'm a liar, which I'm not. So it's called a defamation suit.
Like all others she's named, Prince Andrew has denied the allegations. Buckingham Palace telling NBC News in a statement, it is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact.
And there's Dutchie. Just the moment we hear the word Duke, Dutchie, she just runs in the room. Welcome to the Duck Pond, Miss Dutch. Thank you for being here. See, 19 in BC, but 3 other provinces are 18. That's interesting. That's so interesting. Hey, Kay, how you doing, crime? Yeah, okay. So if she had sued in the UK, you don't have statutes of limitations for certain crimes. Huh. But because she sued in the United States, it was different. Interesting. Okay, let's finish listening this out and then we'll go back.
Or relationship with Virginia Roberts. Any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation. Maxwell has not been criminally charged and has repeatedly denied the accusations against.
Okay, and this was 6 years ago, I think, when Savannah Guthrie did this interview. So we now know she is in jail.
Her.
What does justice look like to you now?
Justice now is holding accountable the perpetrators that helped him and participated with him, and encouraging more people to come forward so we can try to put this puzzle together and understand how it happened. How did this happen for so long? How did he get away with it?
These are questions many of these women have asked, especially now after Epstein's suicide in jail, awaiting trial on child sex trafficking and conspiracy charges.
I feel let down, that he was able to commit suicide. Yeah, it was really upsetting.
They failed us before. Don't fail us again.
Exactly.
That's all we're asking. Take us serious. We matter. You matter. You matter, and you matter. And for all the girls out there, you all matter too.
Yes.
A message to other possible victims of Epstein still waiting in the shadows.
Jeffrey thought that we were disposable and he threw us all away. And look who's still standing.
There's something about seeing.
Okay, so let's go back over here and finish watching that one that we were. Watch some more of this one. I know we're a little back and forth here, but
kind of economic outlook, if you like, that was seen as a member of the royal family could do this. His status would provide Britain with that kind of heft on the world stage. But the emails from the Department of Justice suggest that when he was in these conversations in places like Singapore, Hong Kong, I've got a list here in front of me of other countries that he went to, he would then have these kind of confidential documents in these emails, and then it looks like he was forwarding them on to Jeffrey Epstein, another one here from Vietnam, another from China. So if you look at the date on some of these emails as well, that is what is interesting. One of them here in front of me from 2010. Of course, that's well after Jeffrey Epstein had already faced charges for soliciting sex from a minor. So that goes to the heart of this entire issue around Andrew and Epstein. The relationship that he had with that convicted sex offender went far beyond the time which he said that he had broken all contact with him. People at home might remember the disastrous interview he gave in 2019 to the BBC, where he said that he had traveled to the United States, to New York, to sever his ties with Jeffrey Epstein, that he was there to basically explain to him that he no longer wanted to be in communication with him. These emails from the Department of Justice suggest that that was not true, that he basically lied about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein in that interview. He has.
Does any of us find that odd that he lied about anything? I mean, I don't find it strange at all. I mean, it is exactly what I expected of it. Let's go back over here to this one.
And he has, I know things about Andrew privately that I have never repeated, and I do not propose to repeat at this time.
Thank you,
I don't
Cindy.
believe in outing people, and I don't believe in if you learn something. And also Sarah York, as she was, Sarah Ferguson.
I have one video that I'm going to play on Sarah Ferguson, and I'm going to play that at the very end. So stay tuned for that one. That's going to be at the very end.
No. Sarah also was a very rich source of information about Andrew and why the marriage didn't work. And she would bleat about this left, right, and center. And it so happens that I also know people to whom she is closely related. And I was told something that she told one of her first cousins it would have been in the early 90s, mid 90s, I can't remember when, sometime between the separation and the divorce, as to an incident that happened on the Britannia. And all of this has always suggested to me, plus what I know from great friends of mine who have been great friends of Andrew's or were married to great friends of Andrew's, that a lot of the characterization in terms of his personal interests, let's put it that way, do not add up with what they have known about him. And so I've always gone with the fact that all of this was the truth in the absence of any proof to the contrary. And we need to remember as well that Epstein was a blackmailer, and Epstein used to fabricate situations to entrap people. And in the Epstein files, a lot of what is being used against people is Epstein's notes to himself. So, I mean, the whole situation, and I'm not saying
No, Epstein's notes to himself. I'm sorry.
That Andrew didn't do anything wrong. But I'm saying that let's be clear about what he has been arrested for.
Okay, War and
He
Peace
has
is a
been
comedian.
arrested for effectively malfeasance in a public office. And that is actually a serious offense legally, but it's also difficult to prove. And also, if he has been arrested for misconduct in a public office, and he was only the trade envoy, why hasn't Peter Mandelson been arrested?
Ma'am, Peter Mandelson, there is already stuff going on. And you know what, War and Peace, I'm sorry. We put comedy in the chaos over here, and your comment just this threw me. I normally I get a lot of weirdos, but Andrew Battyman-Windsor, it just threw me, okay? And welcome to the duck pond. We're a little crazy over here, okay? Yeah, he kept detailed notes of all sorts. There's all and I still have a lot of more Epstein stuff that I want to go over with the notes and other stuff that I found, but I just wanted to totally just put Prince Andrew in his own little pocket today. So, anyways, yes, he just got arrested today, lady, and we have that'll probably be on tonight. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that one out. Yes. Here we go. Miss Unstoppable. Thank you for that. Lady Colin Campbell. And she is close to the Royals. I was going to say rebels. She was close to the rebels. Y'all, I tell y'all, some days my words don't work right. I was fixing to say she was close to the rebels. That says Royals. Oh, well, thank you, War and Peace. I appreciate that. Anybody, if y'all don't mind, give me a thumbs up. I'm just this is just my fun time. I enjoy streaming.
When he was an actual member of the government. And there is proof that Peter Mandelson handed over privileged information to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I would also say it's very difficult to prove misconduct in a public office. I've checked this out with lawyers. And the fact of the matter is that a defense.
Well, here, let's go ahead and we're just going to go right over here. Okay? Just because. We're going to correct her. UK police arrested ex-ambassador to U.S. amid Epstein accusations. Peter Mandelson was arrested on Monday on suspicion of his misconduct in public office following revelations about his dealings with Jeffrey Epstein. And this is just a little video. I don't think he speaks. But look at this old handsome man. Don't you know he just fits right in with that crowd? Yeah, he's got nothing to say. British police on Monday arrested Peter Mandelson, the former British ambassador to the United States, following allegations he passed confidential government information to the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. London's Metropolitan Police, which began an investigation into Mr. Mandelson earlier this month, said in a statement, officers have arrested a 72-year-old man on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Statement added that the man had been taken to a police station in London and formally interviewed. He did not name Mr. Mandelson in line with British rules that ban them from identifying suspects before any charges are brought, but footage broadcast by BBC showed Mr. Mandelson being led from his home into an unmarked police car by plainclothes officers in his driveway around 4:30 p.m. local time. He was not handcuffed and was carrying a bottle of water. Comes just days after the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the former prince, on suspicion of same offense, misconduct in public office, which carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Okay, so I got to stop the screen because StreamYard is being a bitch. And back over here and hit play.
That both Andrew and Peter Mandelson could run is that they were not tipping him off information. They were not effectively doing a version of insider trading, because neither of them was actually trading per se. That because he was an acknowledged financial expert, they...
Okay, Hannah, that just took me so out reading that, trying to say that when someone is in prison here, they are said to be at His Majesty's pleasure. Those words are just not okay.
We were running this information by him for the benefit of British trade or the British government. So let's wait and see if they're charged, because I can promise you, if they're charged, the likelihood is that is going to be what is going to be their defense, or some version of that.
Lady C, a little bit more detail has been reported about this iconic, probably for all the wrong reasons, picture of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, which we have just seen. Let me take you through it. A black Range Rover appeared at Aylsham Police Investigation Centre at approximately 6:50 p.m. It tried to get in via an electronic gate, but was unable to do so as the gate was broken. It went in via another gate after waiting 10 minutes. 5 minutes later, a large garage door in the building opened and 2 cars could be seen, including the Range Rover. It drove past the waiting reporters, but a photographer was able to take a picture of Andrew trying to lie down on the back seat. So, Lady C, that could in some ways explain why he is looking so unwell in this picture. Maybe it's not a sign of quite how he might be struggling physically and mentally. It might just be the fact that he was trying to lie down to try and avert this picture being taken at all.
Well, that's a possibility, but it doesn't alter the fact that he's been extremely fragile mentally, and that it's caused the family a great deal of distress. As indeed has the general situation. You know, nobody looks forward to the possibility of
call me crazy, but is she like somebody pulled some wool over her eyes? What happened? Why is Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor not being charged with assault? Well, there are charges that, I mean, it's still out there. I'm not sure exactly what he has been charged with, but there are things that are happening in the background that I'm not sure we know everything about. The prisons are HM, which stands for his prisons. You know, war. She probably has some skeletons in her closet. 9 investigations on Andrew in the UK alone. Okay. Yeah, she's a denier. Oh yeah, it's far from over. Far from over.
A loved one, no matter how badly behaved they are, possibly topping themselves, or you know, being... Let's remember, Andrew has fallen from the greatest height to what is one of the greatest depths, and he still has some way to fall if he's charged and tried and convicted. But if he's charged and tried and not convicted, he has years of trauma ahead of him. And even if he isn't tried and convicted, and even if he isn't charged, he has had one of the most spectacular falls from the heights to the depths that is on a record historically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he is talking, Lady C, now about his legacy. Can it ever be recovered? Well, no, it can't. He's even talking to friends about his funeral, which at one point he thought would be held at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle and be broadcast around the world to a grieving nation. Now,
Oh no, that's not an unpopular opinion because I don't like her either. To me, I'll just straight up say it. I'll straight up say it. She sounds like an enabler to me, but who am I? I'm just another big mouth on YouTube that's got comments, okay? But she just seems like an enabler of just, yeah, here we go. Hannah, like, what? Yeah, he's got trauma, years of trauma. What? Hello? What happened to Virginia Giuffre? Where is she? Where did her trauma lead her? I mean, what about all these girls that we just seen on a panel? What about, I have like 7 more videos of victims that I wanted to go over that I don't have time right now. That'll probably be a tomorrow stream. What? Who the fuck is she to take it down, Sheila? Take it down, Sheila. Who? Yeah, Teresa, thank you. I see no other legacy for him. And as far as being laid to rest and all this shit, well, you know what? You didn't think about any of that while you were over here screwing a 17-year-old, giving her alcohol. And yes, I do think that's who she is. You know what? Let me look her up real quick, just because. Lady Conlon, L.A. Here we go. She is British Jamaican author and socialite. Socialite television personality who has published 7 unauthorized books about British and royal family. These include biographies of Diana, Princess of Wales, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother, Meghan, and Duchess Prince Harry, Duke. Okay, as well as being a royal biographer and a royal commentator, she is a reality star who made an appearance on all these shows. Okay, well, she doesn't entertain me.
Oh, you're in a situation where potentially even the likes of Prince William would not want to attend. And what was so striking today, Lady C, and I want to play you this, is that Emily Maitlis, the hard left, radical left, fake news agent journalist who conducted that interview famously for Newsnight with Prince Andrew, even Emily Maitlis, who is being briefed by the palace, now putting it out there that she is concerned about Andrew's mental health. I want to play this to you and then I'll get your reaction, Lady C. Watch.
I think one of the reasons I'm gobsmacked is because there is something very personal in this as well. And we talk a lot about people's sort of state of mind and health and all the rest of it. And I suppose I do feel, I feel concern actually as I'm watching this story unfold. And I suppose that 2 things can be simultaneously true, that it can have been a long time coming, but when it does, there is somebody at the center of it, and it is a
Welcome in, J-Bags, and you have a point there. Those years of trauma to come, give them an idea what he put those girls through, because they're still living with their trauma. They are still living with their trauma.
father, and there are children, and there is a mental health question. And I suppose that's what's sort of holding me back a bit and saying this is a pretty serious moment. You know, it's a grave moment. It's not a sort of jumping up and down moment.
No. And Lady C, this,
and I'm not worried, you know, and here I am. I'm gonna be frank. I'm gonna be honest, because y'all know this. I haven't seen any of the interviews with his daughters yet, but that's exactly what I'm gonna say. His mental health, fuck him and his mental health. What about his children? What about his kids? What about his daughters? What about the mental health of?
This is something that is very much also being briefed, I know for a fact, by people close to William and Catherine too, because there are concerns, given their advocacy for mental health issues, that if Andrew were to take his own life, actually that would make this situation so much worse for the British monarchy too, because it would leave so many questions
Absolutely.
unanswered. And I don't think anyone would really believe it either.
Right. If something to happen right now, I will tell you this, mark my word, if something happens to him within the next, let's say 6 months, I will not believe that it's natural. Just saying. Unless he just mentally just breaks down.
Well, you know, Dan, we just need to let the situation evolve. I mean, I am an ambassador, or I was an ambassador. I am now a trustee of SOS Silence of Suicide. And
I'm sorry, she's a trustee of what, suicide? And welcome in, baby girl. Mama misses you. Everybody say muffins. Say hi to my muffins.
which I think is a charity that you are very aware of as well.
It is a brilliant charity, so important.
Yeah, and you know, it would be too awful if he did commit suicide. And Emily Maitlis, I have always maintained, she knew that she was basically
J-Bags, though, we will get to Miss Sarah Ferguson towards the end, because yeah, she's not innocent. She's not innocent.
Taking food out of a baby's mouth, because when she asked Andrew the question, do you regret having met Epstein? And he gave the fulsome answer, which he did, which I at the time thought he was trying to be honest. And he's not bright enough, but also, may I say, people have recently begun to realize that Andrew has most likely always been autistic, because
I need to double fist, y'all. This crazy bitch she just fucking did not go. Look, even muffins. Even my daughter went, nope, absolutely not. We're not going there. Nope, no way. Whew. Whew. Thank you, Irvin. Welcome into the duck pond. She just said he's autistic. Did that? Ugh. Okay, I gotta rewind. Y'all, I swear, I just mentally lost my shit.
And he's not bright enough, but also, may I say, people have recently begun to realize that Andrew has most likely always been autistic, and that explains a lot of his behavior from childhood. But he certainly always had something slightly off about his personality. And I've always said he's not a likable person. But if he's autistic, that explains a lot. But Emily Maitlis, when she asked him the question and he asked,
we're gonna, y'all, I'm gonna have a fucking meltdown. We're gonna excuse his vile, sick actions because ever since he was little, he may have been autistic. I'm sorry, get the fuck out of here. What? Okay, and where is Gypsy Rose's boyfriend that stabby pokeyed her mama, what, go to Jean. They say he's autistic. Oh, who? That still doesn't give him the right. What is happening? I'm sorry, y'all. I sorry. Look, I'm not even reading chat. Yes, Cindy, I'm gonna breathe. Look, and I done knocked my camera over with my foot because I'm over here kicking the bottom of my desk. Okay. Look, now my camera's gonna wig out on me. Okay, calm down and breathe. Okay, I gotta go reset my camera. I'm gonna hit play on this and go reset my camera because I done kicked it under my desk.
Answered it the way that he did. Had she been a reporter who was sympathetic or even neutral, she would have stopped the interview right there and said to him, sorry, you cannot answer the question like that. If you do, you are begging for trouble. And she'd have let him re-answer the question. She didn't. She knew that she'd sprung the trap and he'd walked right into it. And that is what, above all else, made the interview the disaster that it turned out to be. So now she's backtracking. Now that she realizes she could have the blood of somebody on her hands, she's backtracking. Is she backtracking because she's seriously concerned for him, or is she backtracking because she's seriously concerned for her reputation? And she doesn't want people to be able to say, oh, actually, Emily Maitlis, you have blood on your hands.
Lady C, I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second because we have a new statement that has just come in from Thames Valley Police. Of course, it was Thames Valley Police that arrested Andrew earlier today. I'll read it to you in full. Thames Valley Police is able to provide an update in relation to an investigation into the offence of misconduct in public office. On Thursday, we arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The arrested man has now been released under investigation. We can also confirm that our searches in Norfolk have now concluded. So, Lady C, now the waiting game begins for Andrew, who is going to have a torturous period waiting to not only see if he is arrested again, because, of course, we have 9 other police forces across the United Kingdom investigating Epstein-related issues, but also if this...
Mike was muted. Does any of you also find it kind of odd that the United States, and this is coming from somebody in the United States, doesn't seem, let me find my words, doesn't seem to be taking it as serious as some of the other countries that have come out and said, hey, no, this isn't acceptable. You know, United States let it slide. I'm not sure.
Will eventually lead to a charge. And he will be being told, Lady C, by his legal team to say nothing. Is that the right decision in this case? We are on a mission to...
So there are times when silence is golden, and I suspect this is one of them.
Silence is golden. Okay. But if
also, he's being bombarded from various different directions with the possibility of various different charges. And you have several of the commentators, journalists, and let us not forget politicians, all wading in. You have Gordon Brown, a former prime minister, wading in. You have Keir Starmer, the present prime minister, wading in. You know, this is deeply disturbing if it's anybody at all who is facing the possibility of criminal charges. So it's almost unprecedented. It's unprecedented to have a situation like this. In fact, I would say it is unprecedented. And especially
What
if you
about
consider-
Sarah Ferguson and Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, who Andrew Lowney has reported may be interviewed under caution too? Can they maintain their silence here publicly?
Well, Sarah is, quite frankly.
But wait, what would Eugenia and Beatrice know? And Anarchy, thank you for that comment. I totally agree with you. Money, power, no more, no less. Less intelligence. I like that comment. Thank you for that. Welcome to the duck pond. And if y'all don't mind hitting that thumbs up while y'all are here hanging out, helps get us into the algorithm. You know, I'm not a monetized channel or anything. We just kind of hang out and do this for fun. So, you know, we like to chit chat. Welcome in. Yeah, I bet he gave a no comment interview. He was another one that was like Ghislaine up there on her. No comment. I plead the fifth. No comment. I plead the fifth. You know what I'm saying? What did Bella say and I missed it? Close her pie hole. Girl, how close was she to all this? Just questions, Lady Conlon. How close were you to all this? What do you know that you're keeping your mouth shut about? Why are you defending Andrew so closely? What you know? What is it that she might know? Just a questions. Their two daughters took a large sum of money from Andrew's business contacts in other cities. Oh, see?
Somebody that I would say, you know, let them do what they wish with her. I think the two girls are, I think the two girls are unfortunate collateral.
But the problem with that, Cindy, is if he loses his line, they all lose theirs.
And I really do think that they were very
right,
young
Bobby?
At the time, that they were being dragged along by their mother. And let us remember that not only were they young, but that they would not have necessarily known what was really going on. And I think a little bit of fair play as opposed to tabloid-esque righteous indignation, and a little bit of humanity could be called for. Because, you know, if we're saying that many of the girls that Epstein took advantage of were young, and some of them were far older than Eugenie and Beatrice were, of 26 and 28 and 35. Well,
script. Flip the script. Y'all, we're going to just flip the script a minute. How would homeboy over here feel if it was one of his two daughters? Think about that for a second. Mr. Fall from Grace, Prince Andrew. What if it was one of his two daughters that this happened to? You would never wish that on a single fucking soul. Never. But what if? What if?
I would 19 and 20-year-old Beatrice and Eugenie not be accorded the same, unless, of course, this is all about class prejudice, in which case, because they're princesses, they should be smashed to smithereens, while any girl who was working her way to the top should be allowed to be given a free pass. So unless that's the attitude, I think
Sorry about that. This says update on misconduct public office investigation. This was on February 19th. Thames Valley Police able to provide an update on relation to an investigation into the offense of misconduct in public office on Thursday. February 19th, we arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk in suspicion of misconduct in public office. Arrested man's now been released under investigation. We also confirm our searches in Norfolk have now concluded.
The same compassion should be given to all of them. And I'm very discomfited to have the two girls dragged into this. And I think it's uncalled for. I think it's unnecessary. Yeah, it may help to make a greater sensation, but I would have thought people should be perfectly happy.
Cindy's in vertical. Horizontal. I have some in vertical and some in horizontal because we get a few little trolls in the vertical. So I got to have a couple mods stay over there sometimes. But she's here. She's hanging out.
To have destroyed 2 lives. I don't see why they should be so exultant in destroying 4, especially when the 2 girls are basically collateral.
I don't think she took her own life.
Damage as a result of being their parents' children. And that's my take on it. And if people think I'm being too soft, I see nothing wrong in being compassionate. I think we live in a society where there's...
But Paul, how fair is that? How fair is that Beatrice and Eugenia have to pay for their father's misconduct? Shit talking or whatever, think about that. Okay, just say, I don't know, let me just make up a story. My daughter's father goes to prison. I don't know. For burning down a trailer. Okay. So what, are we going to totally hold that against her because her father did that? How fair is that to her? It's not her that did it, but should he have been anybody important? We should take away her title of importance or anything like that. How fair is that? That's why I'm having such a problem with why are they taking away the disgrace of this man is now affecting his children. Just like the disgrace of my ex-husband, for example, affected my child, but it was not something that she was preyed upon or hurt by. It wasn't anything, it wasn't fair to her. So why should she be hurt and all that and not why should she pay for his sins? So again, here we go to Beatrice and Eugenia are now having to lose anything that they had because of their father's sins. How about compassion for the victims? Not a peep out of her. Yeah, this woman is I'm really bothered by, y'all know that I do these reactions blindly. I listen to the summary, or I read the summary of the video and I choose whether or not to show it. So my reactions are very raw and they're very honest. So yeah, life is not fair. Life is not fair. And it's not fair, yet given the hierarchy, that's how it's done. Yeah, you're right.
Too little compassion and too much judgment and cruelty.
Lady C, there are still landmines for King Charles coming up. And a lot of this relates to the so-called Paul Burrell defense. You will remember very well, Lady C, that case about 2 decades ago when Paul Burrell was facing.
That's on another stream. We haven't gotten to the jerky stream yet. But thank you for being here, Lazy Lab Rat. I like that name, Lazy Lab Rat. That's cute.
A court case for being accused of stealing from the late Princess Diana. And the case collapsed, Lady C, because he invoked a conversation with the then monarch, Elizabeth II. And there are lots of fears
Okay, I'm gonna rewind just a second because I was squirreled. And Hannah says I need to listen closely.
Decades ago, when Paul Burrell was facing a charge, a court case for being accused of stealing from the late Princess Diana. And the case collapsed, Lady C, because
Wait, who against Diana?
to the so-called Paul Burrell defense.
And too much judgment and cruelty.
Lady C, there are still landmines for King Charles coming up. And a lot of this relates to the so-called Paul Burrell defense.
Her butler.
You will remember very well, Lady C, that case about 2 decades ago.
Okay.
When Paul Burrell was facing a charge, a court.
Paul Burrow. Okay, so it's Paul Burrow. Is that what he's saying? Because the accent is, y'all, I'm not an accent person. Sometimes it throws me off, and I'm sorry about that. Diana's butler, Paul Burrow. Okay.
Case for being accused of stealing from the late Princess Diana. And the case collapsed, Lady C, because he invoked a conversation with the then monarch, Elizabeth II. And there are lots of fears that Charles's position could be made perilous if Andrew were to be charged, plead guilty, and then bring his brother into his defense. Now, I just want to show you, Lady C, what Tom Sykes of The Royalist told me about this earlier today. Then I'll get your reaction. Watch this.
It's the use and abuse of executive power to shield yourself when you know the truth. That is the danger here for Charles. And I'm sorry, but if that is proven, and if that comes out, if this trial collapses because Andrew says, well, I told my brother all about it, and that the Paul Burrell defense comes into play, I don't see that. I think they're very lucky that they have this amazing kind of parachute, which is that they can say, okay, we're really, really sorry. Charles is going to abdicate and William's going to take over. There's even a lesser version where Charles kind of becomes king emeritus and they say, okay, operational control. Charles is really ill. He's got really bad cancer. They're very fortunate in a way that they can use that as an excuse. But whatever happens, one way or the other, today, William needs to take control of the monarchy. Today.
Lady C, your response.
Well, again, Dan, you put me in an awkward situation because Tom is a friend of mine. I don't agree. First of all, the Paul Burrell defense couldn't possibly work because Charles wasn't monarch at the time of any.
You know what? I wanted to tell you. Oh, nope, not you. I don't care about you. You got blocked. This one. Do a pod on a subject, maybe do a research. Do you even know who this one is? Welcome in. My name is Sheila. This is the Rubber Ramada Reviews channel. And what we do here is we do blind reviews for most of the part and do live reactions. So, yeah, we learn as we go and we kind of hang out. So welcome in, and I hope you enjoy the stream.
Of the putative offences taking place. It could work in terms of Andrew saying, I told my mother, and she's not here to back him up. And basically, if there's any paper trail that he told her, but I don't see that he would do that, number one. And number two, I'm not sure it could work because the charge against Andrew would be that he revealed information to Epstein that was privileged and that he was not supposed to be revealing. So I honestly think the Paul Burrell thing is a stretch. Tom ought to know that the king is obliged as a result of his coronation oath to remain king no matter what. Now, his point about it being where he basically is king emeritus and
William operating as regent effectively.
William is that would only work if Charles were incapacitated and William became Prince Regent. That would be the only way that that could work, because there is already a soft regency in place, and there has been for some time, because Charles makes no major decisions without reference to William, and vice versa. And I know that some people would like to believe that they are at daggers drawn 28 hours a day. They're not. Yeah, there are differences of opinion, and ultimately, because Charles is the king, if there's a difference of opinion, and Charles will go with what he thinks is right, which is what William will do when George and he are in the same situation. So,
okay. You know, I'm hearing what she's saying, but my mind went somewhere else. Let's just hope that William and Henry are never in this situation. Mind your words, lady. That was the wrong thing to say. And how many blokes have you smelled on lately, H8? I need to know. I need your comment. I need your next comment to be how many blokes have you smelled, okay? Welcome to the duck pond.
There's no big deal where that is concerned. But I do think this is all highly speculative and very unlikely to happen, because I know that William would sooner see his uncle in prison than do anything to jeopardize his throne. And anybody who thinks to the contrary really has no idea of the personalities that they're dealing with. That's my take on it. What do you think?
I don't know what happened. StreamYard just made a big circle. Am I still here? I think I'm still here. And he just was fixing to make a comment on Donald Trump. And Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Damn it. It's coming back up. It took a minute. I'm sorry. My whole freaking internet went down. My whole freaking internet went down in the entire house. I know, y'all. I was having an anxiety attack over here. I was panicking. I was calling Hio. I was like, oh my God, Hio, you need to go in there and shut my stream down. But I'm back. You was about to cry for real. I know. I was too. I was like, the whole internet went up. And then I went on my phone I turned off the Wi-Fi and tried because it came up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hang up on you. Okay. Just the whole internet and the whole house went down. And then I turned the Wi-Fi off on my phone because I was going to come on the StreamYard on my phone. And it wouldn't even let me do that. I was like, okay. Andrea left. Okay. All right. Thank you, Andrea. Be safe. Bye. I don't know why, but bye. Okay. So we're going to back this up because she was fixing to talk about Trump and I got I know. I hung up on her. I got excited because my stream came back. But something was just said about Trump and that's when I got excited and my internet stopped. So we're going to back up just a hair.
Can do anything to jeopardize his throne. And anybody who thinks
we're rewind just a little bit so we're not totally lost.
That is concerned. But I do think this is all
highly
speculative and very unlikely to happen. Because I know that William would sooner see his uncle in prison than do anything to jeopardize his throne. And anybody who thinks to the contrary really has no idea of the personalities that they're dealing with. That's my take on it. What do you think?
Sorry, Lady C, I'm just hearing that Donald Trump has spoken on today's arrest, saying it is a very sad thing. I also...
Everybody have their listening ears on. Everybody, my ears aren't really big, but I'm going to try to make them big for y'all. Everybody has listening ears on. Excuse me. Knock, knock. Knock, knock. It's sad. Trump said, it's sad. I'm sorry. Sorry, what?
Hearing that Donald Trump has...
Is the sound not working? Ava, you may have to go out and come back in. I've had a shit show today. And I think everybody else can hear me. Okay. Ava, she can't hear me. Abellis, tell Ava to go back out and come back in.
Spoken on today's arrest, saying it is a very sad thing. I also wanted to show you, Lady Colin Campbell, Jonathan Dimbleby. Now, this is interesting to me, Lady C, because he makes very few media appearances these days. But you know, when the king is in crisis, Dimbleby is sent out publicly to defend his friend. This is what he had to say to the BBC earlier. Watch.
I think that my first thought is that the king has made the statement that we heard just earlier. That does not surprise me at all. Not at all. He's head of state. He's at the apex. He is the crown in this respect. So were there to be a trial, were there to be a charge, it would be in the name of the crown of the king. But it would be in character as well. He made it very clear earlier that he would cooperate with the Thames Valley Police were there to be any questions that they would like him to answer. So I think that it demonstrates oddly, perversely, if you like, because people talk about the damage to the royal family. It demonstrates actually the strength of the Constitution in this respect, that the police have acted without fear of favour.
Lady C, your reaction to Dimbleby's comments?
I agree with him. I think it shows that our system of justice works very effectively, and but it works effectively because neither the King nor the Prince of Wales is calling in favors. I would be a lot happier if the Prime Minister.
Did we just bump into Harry Potter? I'm sorry. What? I didn't catch his name either because that was the first thing I thought. My mind went to Harry Potter. So I think, y'all, comedy in the chaos. I'm telling y'all, I have to laugh. Hey, Mustang, welcome in. I haven't seen you in a while. We got Mustang in the pond. Welcome in. Whew, yeah, I was listening, but my mind so went Harry Potter that I squirreled for a moment. I'm sorry.
Because neither the King nor the Prince of Wales is calling in favors. I would be a lot happier if the Prime Minister and the government took a leaf out of the royal family's book and applied justice as even-handedly as the King and the Prince of Wales do. But no, I couldn't agree with Jonathan Dimbleby more.
Lady C, learning the context in which Trump has spoken on this to reporters, this is in the past few moments. He was asked about Andrew's arrest, the US president, and was asked if others in the US could see similar charges. And he responded by saying, Lady C, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated, so I can speak on it. It's a very sad thing. He was speaking to reporters on board Air Force One, and he added, I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. He did not elaborate further or comment on the legal aspects of the investigation, but added that he is looking forward to King Charles visiting the United States very soon. But I think the line from this intervention from Donald Trump, Lady C, that is going to go around the world, and it is hard to dispute, it's so bad for the royal family. That's undeniable, isn't it?
I think Donald Trump is right. It's sad. And, you know, if it emerges, as it is quite possible it will, that there are no charges brought against Andrew in respect of...
That's a Hannah question, Mustang. Hannah, Mustang has a question, and I don't know the answer because my mind, y'all know, comedy in the chaos, Duke of Earl. My mind went to singing, so I have no clue. Okay, I totally, y'all. I went to, what is that, 50s music? I don't know.
You know, misconduct in public office, that people will say, oh, well, it shows that in Britain, no one is above the law. As Starmer made the point today, no one is above the law in reference to Andrew's arrest. But Starmer has actually forgotten to make the point that Mandelson at the moment is above the law.
The former US ambassador who is yet to be arrested, although his house has been searched.
Yes.
You'll be fucking with me. Damn it, Mustang. You just wanted me to sing. That's all that was. Right? Look at Cindy. Y'all, this is so the sidetrack of my stream. Y'all know we're not normal over here. This is a place to enjoy yourself, be yourself. We say anything and everything. We just hang out in the duck pond with our lawn chairs. I have a squeaky chair. Yeah, no. And if we don't laugh at the trauma, it can really affect our mental health. And this is how I do it. I mean, I'm sorry. This is the way I do things. I have to have comedy in the chaos. Yes, and Duke of Earl. That's all I could think of was the song. The Duke of Earl. Oh, it does. It keeps us sane. It keeps us sane. Okay, I'm gonna rewind this a couple steps because I lost it with my
arrest.
laughter.
But Starmer has actually forgotten to make the point that Mandelson at the moment is above the law.
The former US
And-
ambassador who is yet to be arrested, although his house has been searched.
Yes, yes. And let's remember, Andrew was arrested before his house was searched. Mandelson's house was searched.
Well, of course, they're gonna search your house while you're in there and being interrogated, ma'am. I have I think it's the next video. No, I got one more video and then we're gonna watch. They're gonna go to his new house. It's really funny.
And he wasn't arrested. So
Yeah,
we still have two-tier justice in this country.
Yeah, we do. Total two-tier justice, which infuriates so many people. But first, so I'm 42 now, and that Andrew may have been preparing to flee the country and also may have been preparing to start destroying some papers that could maybe provide some type of idea, because otherwise the idea of going in first thing on the morning of his 66th birthday is certainly odd. But this is Andrew Lowney's argument. Watch.
This is not a development I expected quite so quickly. I welcome it. It's in many ways long overdue. There's been so much effort.
Okay, we're gonna, because we get to flip-flop, because we are that kind of stream, we're gonna listen over here, because I'm not sure if that's what.
Arrested in connection to the Epstein files. It's hard to think of any precedent for this. We're getting new information just in.
The police have arrested Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. It's an extraordinary revelation and development on this story.
Breaking news to bring you now. Thames Valley Police say that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
We start with breaking news about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. The BBC understands that he has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
Now, the royal family attempted business as usual today, but of course, that just wasn't possible.
Good afternoon, Your Majesty.
Do you have any reaction to the arrest of your brother, sir?
Your Majesty, how are you feeling after your brother's arrest? Your Majesty, how are you feeling after your brother's arrest? Have you spoken to your brother, Your Majesty?
Are you concerned about Andrew's arrest, Your Majesty?
By lunchtime, Buckingham Palace delivered a historic statement from King Charles, one he never wanted to release, given claims he contributed £1.5 million to pay off Virginia Giuffre, and given his decision to ludicrously try and bring Andrew and even Fergie back into the fold. But it was a historic statement which read, a statement from His Majesty the King. I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all. Charles R. At that exact moment, Andrew, who 66 years ago was born at Buckingham Palace, was believed to be having his rights read in a police cell where he could be held overnight. Here's what the former head of Royal Protection, Di Davies, told me earlier.
Well, first and foremost, he will be read his rights. Once you get there, he will be told he doesn't have to say anything, etc., etc., and any comment he makes will be written down. He'll be treated like any other prisoner. He'll be searched and initially placed either in an interview room or a cell until the officers are ready to do a tape-recorded interview, and it will be taped. I would imagine he would have the right to have a solicitor there. And I imagine
I would love to get my hands on that interview. I would love to. I would love to. Abellis, don't even go there. Don't even.
and if he was sensible, he would. And I suspect until he's had proper legal advice, knowing to some extent what the allegations now are in terms of what the Thames Valley are doing and anyone else, then he would stay quiet until he sought that advice. And once he has that, then they would restart an interview and question him again under tape, and he has the right to say no comment. And I suspect if he's sensible, unless he wants to plead guilty to anything, he would say no comment until I've taken legal advice, is what I would do.
But this is just the beginning. After years of delaying the inevitable, 9 police forces are now investigating Epstein's activities with Andrew on the Lolita Express, with the ex-Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, submitting a new dossier of evidence today. So this could be the first of many arrests. It could lead to the first of many trials. And it could finally expose the corrupt nature of the British deep state, which Di Davies is convinced has been engaged in a Watergate-level cover-up.
This has been...
This man just said Watergate. This man just said Watergate. Where, what? Whew. Hey, content. Sorry, I was over here. Girl, it's been a long few days. Every time I try to plan a stream, y'all know I take care of my mother-in-law with dementia. And it's just, you know, sometimes we cannot work hours that we want to work out and be at the computer. I'm so glad y'all are here and y'all patiently have time and wait for me. And again, turn your notifications on, sub up to the channel, make sure your bells are on all, because my live times are squirrely. I'm going to try to get to where I'm doing 4 o'clock every day. But you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, Epstein Gate. Now it's worldwide. We have Epstein Gate. Forget Watergate. Look at what's happening.
Swilling around in the
Hannah, you know what to do if you have a problem, love.
palace within a variety of different sources, including government ministers, I allege. Who knew? How long have they known? And these are questions we should be asking in terms of this trade envoy. And then we can come on to the issue of alleged sexual trafficking. I am
so, Di, what you are suggesting is a full deep state cover-up here.
So my question is, looking at this thing, it says royal family plunged into biggest crisis in 90 years. What was the crisis? Hannah, this is a question to you. What was your what happened 90 years ago that was a royal family crisis? I don't know. Maybe some are in vertical and some are in horizontal. I could turn on this little thingy. I don't know how to use it though. Medium. That looks good. I'll leave it on. Okay, I'll look at it. I'll pull it up.
Yeah. And that could actually have serious consequences for people outside of Andrew and the British royal family too.
Yes, quite simply, yes. You know, you don't give away £12 million allegedly if you are a family without properly getting somebody, a private detective, some of us would have to use, to look at all the case facts. You would have a proper examination. Now, we don't know what went on, but clearly somebody looked very carefully into this to actually pay money to a woman, as you've said many times, and other contributors he didn't know, etc., etc.
Now, meanwhile, today, the king decided to keep calm and carry on. Here he was speaking with Stella McCartney about sustainable and scalable sequins. during the opening of London Fashion Week. The Queen was also there. Of course, she met Anna Wintour, the ex-Vogue editor, massive supporter of the monarchy, and the royal family posted on the first day of London Fashion Week, Dame Anna Wintour met the Queen at Clarence House to discuss British fashion and the work of the Queen's Reading Room, a charity dedicated to promoting and celebrating the benefits of reading. Keep calm and carry on.
Keep calm and carry on? Keep calm and carry on. For who? Maybe King Charles, but I think Prince Andrew's keeping calm and carrying on has probably come to a little halt.
But Piers Morgan on Fox and Friends accused Andrew of treacherous and treasonous behaviour. Watch.
It is an absolute bombshell. I mean, to put this into context, there has been no member of the royal family arrested in my lifetime. I'm 60 years old. If you have to go back centuries to the last time that a member of the British royal family was arrested. And this is a serious matter. If he is convicted of misconduct in public office, then the vast majority of people that receive that kind of conviction end up with a prison sentence, and the maximum sentence is life imprisonment. And this is the king's brother who remains eighth in line to the throne. So this is, like I say, an absolute bombshell. Not completely surprising, because I think the tone of the King's statement last week clearly opened the door for the police to make a move. I think it's important to clarify here that the arrest is not in connection with anything to do with the sex scandal involving Epstein. This is very specifically about his behaviour when he was a trade envoy, which is a government appointment. He was acting on behalf of the country for about a decade, in which he travelled around the world as a kind of business envoy for the country. And during that period, we now know from leaks from the Epstein files, he was giving Epstein, remember, a convicted pedophile, he was giving him the information he was getting, top secret information, as a trade envoy. I mean, this is treacherous, treasonous behaviour by a man who is the brother of the king of this country now. So these are very serious allegations. And of course, once there's a police investigation, they've been raiding all of his homes now. They'll be taking all his devices, everything they can find that may.
So taking his devices and all that. So is it just going to be his? No. They're going to be looking into others. So I find it very, very interesting.
They relate to this, but that might also, of course, uncover more information, more evidence about the other incredibly serious allegations against Andrew, which is that he, of course, committed sex crimes involving Virginia Giuffre.
And of course, as we come on air right now, the police are searching not just the King's estate at Sandringham, but Windsor too, and Royal Lodge, the former home of Andrew. But this is about so much more than the disgraced Duke, unfortunately. And I say this as a royalist, but there are growing fears that King Charles simply won't be able to survive an Andrew criminal trial, which, remember, would be held in His Majesty's court.
So, that light bulb just went off. So it would be held in His Majesty's court, meaning King Charles.
As Tom Sykes of The Royalist outlined to me earlier.
I find the king's sudden conversion to the cause of open justice somewhat surprising, having covered up for Andrew for the past 20 years. But that said, the police did go and arrest Prince Andrew this morning. And I think that is something that we as British people can actually be bloody proud of, Dan. And I think that, the king and the palace were not informed in advance. They've been very clear about that. And the king, I get the impression, has made it very clear that he does want justice to take its course. And
Yes, and I did see that I had it somewhere and I can't find it right now, but King Charles was not informed that they were going to do this. So he did not have previous knowledge.
The chips will now just have to fall where the chips fall. I suspect that if it does turn out that Charles was involved in the cover-up, that it will be his position will become very hard to retain.
Now, if Andrew were to invoke the so-called Paul Burrell defense, which resulted in the collapse of his trial, remember, about 2 decades ago now, given it involved, his defense involved the late Queen Elizabeth II, Sykes believes Charles at that point would have to advocate. But either way, Sykes says Prince William, must take control of the monarchy today. We are on a mission to 700,000.
They're very take over. There's even a lesser version where Charles kind of becomes king emeritus, and they say, okay, operational control. Charles is really ill. He's got really bad cancer. They're very fortunate in a way that they can use that as an excuse. But whatever happens, one way or the other, today, William needs to take control of the monarchy. Today.
Okay, how would that look exactly?
I was just fixing to say, how would that look? That would make King Charles look guilty in some form, in my opinion, in my total own opinion. Everything stated here is my opinion only. Do your own research, as I am just a reaction channel. I review things, I react. How would that look if King Charles just steps down right now and gave everything to William? He would look like he had egg all over his face. Why?
Effectively, this is the time for William to launch his modernization project. And that has to mean a whole load of things, right? It has to mean Eugenie and Beatrice being stripped of their titles. It has to mean Harry and Meghan being stripped of their titles. It has to mean Archie and Lily no longer being in the line of succession. And it has to happen now. There is no longer this opportunity to wait.
Yeah, well, there's an old expression in, crisis management, isn't there, Dan? Never, and Lauren will know all about this. Never waste a good crisis, and there is the opportunity. There is this amazing opportunity now for William to come in, to take control, and to make to actually find some silver lining out of this whole disastrous situation, and do those things that so obviously need to be done. I mean, it's so obvious that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie should not be swanning around the world trading on their HRH titles. I mean, it's just so unbelievably obvious. It's so unbelievably obvious that Princess Lilibet and Prince Archie should be normal citizens. They don't even live. They don't even live in this country. Their parents have denounced.
I agree with him there. I agree with him right there. What he just said, little bit Elizabeth and the other Archie. I mean, they've lost all their royalty. They just common people in my eyes. So I don't understand, why he's even bringing them. They're. I don't even think they're have no royalty. In my eyes, seeing them in the United States, living as United States citizens, it's
the royal family from which their titles come. I mean, it's absolutely absurd, and it is so obvious now. And if William does not take this opportunity, I think he will rue it for the rest of his days. This is the chance.
So this is also a perilous time for the king. I know it's a perilous time for the king because anytime the king is in deep trouble, he sends out his close friend, Jonathan Dimbleby. This was
Dimbleby, not Dumbledore. Not Dumbledore. We're going to stay out of the Harry Potter. Dimbleby. Thank you for saying that correctly. A little bit. I can't ever say it right. I just Dumbledore. Stop.
Will be on the BBC today trying to defend our monarch?
I think that my first thought is that the King has made the statement that we heard just earlier. That does not surprise me at all. Not at all. He's head of state. He's at the apex. He is the crown in this respect. So were there to be a trial, were there to be a charge, it would be in the name of the crown of the King. But it would be in character as well. He made it very clear earlier that he would cooperate with the Thames Valley Police were there to be any questions that they would like him to answer. So I think that it demonstrates oddly, perversely, if you like, because people talk about the damage to the royal family. It demonstrates actually the strength of the Constitution in this respect, that the police have acted without fear of favour.
I don't know. I think it's a bit naive, given this is just the start of what could become a constitutional and legal catastrophe for the monarchy, specifically Charles. Now, all of this, of course, was first unraveled by Andrew Lowney in his game-changing book on the House of York, entitled. He has revealed today, and this is new, that the reason the police potentially moved on Andrew's 66th birthday early this morning, the cars turned up at Sandringham at 8 a.m., was because the disgraced Duke was preparing to flee the country. Watch.
See, this is what I found interesting. I did read a little bit up on this, so I knew this was coming. This is interesting.
This is not a development I expected.
I've got that one pulled up. I'm gonna play that. I have one more video and then we're gonna play that.
Quite so quickly. I welcome it. It's in many ways long overdue. There's been so much
And you can tag me too, because I'm over there too, content.
evidence
Same name, still Rubber Ramada over there.
against him. And I was very concerned that he would do a midnight flit and evade justice. And I wonder if the police have also got news along those lines. So we must now see what happens, what he's going to be charged with. But clearly there has been plenty of evidence in the Epstein releases to support this.
Now, Lowney said the cops also needed to move quickly because there are fears that papers had been destroyed since December. However, a lot of you have said, oh, Lowney wants to bring down the monarchy. He also said that this decision to arrest Andrew today will end up.
Well, let me back up here to 623 Leak It. He is being looked into as right now because he was part of the financial backer of who helped pay for Virginia Giuffre stuff, is what I'm understanding.
Say.
So and there are more information is coming out daily. So, you know, it's just flowing here.
Destroyed since December. However, a lot of you have said, oh, Lowney wants to bring down the monarchy. He also said that this decision to arrest Andrew today will end up saving the monarchy. Watch.
Yes, I mean, I think the fact that they went to him at 8 o'clock in the morning suggests that they needed to move very quickly. I've written about the fact that papers have been destroyed since early December, I think with the support of other members of the royal family, and this was deeply concerning. But clearly there's enough evidence from these Epstein leaks for, I think, a prosecution to be mounted. And it does appear that justice will be served. So thank goodness.
Do you think the speed of the arrest, so it's much quicker than Mandelson, who hasn't been arrested yet, do you think that suggests that there is more powerful and compelling evidence?
Yes, I've always felt there was more evidence with Andrew than Mandelson. I mean, he was more deeply involved and for a longer period with Epstein. Clearly had more opportunities in some ways to leak material. But yeah, I thought that they would test the ground with Mandelson, and that would put them in a position where if they prosecuted him, they would have to prosecute Andrew. But they seem to have jumped that. I think the power of the media pressure and indeed public pressure has helped push this. And I think it has been about saving the monarchy. And I think this will do the trick.
Well, I hope so. Lowney says the tipping point was, of course, the release of the Epstein files, but he does say there is more bad news to come for Andrew, including news of a £5 million bribe in Kazakhstan.
I think the tipping point was actually, the last few weeks with just the detailed material here, which did back up the sort of stuff I'd got. So, for example, the leaking of material to David Rowland about the Icelandic banking crisis when he was buying a bank in Iceland, the sharing of information about when he was on trips in Southeast Asia, looking for development business opportunities in Helmand province, the treasonous stuff that he revealed to deal with defense issues, which, people have come forward and said could have been very damaging if it got in the wrong hands, the insider trading, in effect, material on the rescue of RBS. But there was lots and lots of other stuff about Andrew, which I was amazed people didn't really follow through with. The Salman Turk case in 2022, when he clearly was receiving money. And I think there are going to now be big questions about why things weren't done sooner, and stories that we couldn't put in the book, but I hope we can now put in about, for example, the $5 million bribe in Kazakhstan. So a good day for British justice, if not a very good day for the former Prince Andrew.
Okay, so I'm going to flip over here and we're going to watch this real quick. This is Content Angels. We're going to watch this. I don't know how to make it big screen, so unfortunately.
Good morning. I know you don't want to talk about this guy anymore, but after last week's arrest of Prince Andrew, the news is still coming down the hill from across the pond. Today, after last week's stunning and unprecedented arrest of Prince Andrew for his association and possible document and information linked to Jeff Epstein, today the UK announced the arrest of this guy, Lord Mandelson. Lord Peter Mandelson was arrested today, and here he is with Andrew. Why was he arrested? Well, he's buddies with Epstein. How do we know? Well, this is a picture of Lord Mandelson today, and this is a picture of the birthday book message he wrote for Jeff Epstein. But whenever he is in the world, he remains my best pal. This is after he already has been convicted of being a pedophile. Someone high-ranking in the British Parliament is writing,
Excuse me? I did not know that. Thank you. Oh, okay. See, this is how we just learn as we go. Wow.
Birthday notes to a convicted pedophile. So, just to let you know that this man, Lord Mandelson, carries a lot of power still, because this isn't just all in the past. Look where he is in this picture. Oh, where is he? Oh, he's in the White House. With who?
You are just blowing my mind right now, because I didn't see this is I learn as I go. And
Guessed it. So he still curries a lot of political power. In fact, he's just having a grand old time with you-know-who. Here he is again. And here's Jeff with the same guy. This is in 2006 on, I believe, St. Bart's Island. And here he is again, wishing Jeff a very happy birthday. That's what's going on today across the pond. The dominoes are falling. And it's really too bad the United States does not feel the same way as the UK. The UK believes that nobody is above the law. Nobody. Nobody is above the law. But unfortunately, in the United States, we know who is above the law.
ooh, content. Girl. You slamming some nails on the head. Woo. Okay. This one, we're going to switch over here. Epstein co-conspirator dead after threats to reveal it all. I do not know. This was 4 hours ago. Jean-Luc Brunel was allegedly given immunity back in 2016 to flip on Epstein, but he went silent. Okay, let's see what she's got to say.
Katie Fang News about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and others could not have successfully pulled off a multi-decade child sex trafficking ring without the help of others. Now, others could also mean those that were complicit in the actual acts of child rape. Others could also just mean the enablers, those that recruited, those that turned a blind eye, those that facilitated transactions, travel, anything to be able to make that trafficking easier, secret, confidential, and hidden away from authorities. The authorities themselves failed the victims and now survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and others. But there was a really interesting article that came out in the Wall Street Journal that I wanted to share with you about a man by the name of Jean-Luc Brunel. Brunel is dead as of today. He mysteriously was hanged in a
I'm sorry. I need to adjust. Who sent me this? Was this a Bella that sent? No, this was Cindy. Cindy or a Bella? Somebody sent me this. Y'all, see? This is me. Reaction time. A fucking what? Cindy said, okay, so I knew one of y'all did. I have some wonderful mods, y'all. The pretty little blue people, those are some of the best mods anybody can have. I get a lot of my stuff from them. They know what I'm going to talk about. And I have a little section where they drop me things. They know how I react. They know my shock value to some of this. What the actual fuck am I watching? Oh my, okay. We're, I'm okay. Here we go. I'm gonna hit. Yeah, I got that one too, and that is. I have that somewhere over here. I'll have to look for that one again. The short video about the picture. Oh, the picture. Yes, that's what. Okay, that one is on the next. It's on the tab after this. I have like 15 tabs open. Whew. Okay, we're gonna hit. You know what? Can we take just a 2-minute break? Because I really need to use the restroom. We've been here for over 2 hours. So I'm going to just put up a breather for a moment and refill my coffee. And we're going to listen to a song for just a minute. It's only a 4-minute song, but I shouldn't be gone that long. I need a break.
One of these days I'll be alright. There's nothing here that I don't like. Just being me, living through my scars as I watch the clouds near and far. Hard to live within the truth, the memories of my youth. I'm doing my best to get it together, no matter the storm or the weather. Living like I had nothing to lose, not allowing them to light my fuse. I know I can't be the only one, a different path I never dreamed I'd find. It's a beautiful day to start with own mind. Live your best life, I'm not crazy. Stay a while, don't worry about tomorrow. Live for today, one of these days I'll be alright. There's nothing here that I don't like. Just being me, living through my scars as I watch the clouds near and far. Hard to live what's in the truth, the memories of my youth. I'm doing my best to get it together, no matter the storm or the weather. Living like I have nothing to lose, not allowing them to light my fuse. I know I can't be the only one, a different path I never dreamed I'd find. It's It's a beautiful day to start with on my live your best life. I'm not crazy, stay a while, don't worry about tomorrow, live for a day. One of these days I'll be alright. There's nothing here that I don't like, just being me, living through my scars as I watch the clouds near and far. To live in the truth, the memories of my youth. I'm doing my best to get it together, no matter the storm or the weather. Living like I have nothing to lose, not allowing them to light my fuse. I know I can't be the only one, a different pack I never dreamed.
Okay. See, I told y'all it wouldn't be that long. Whew. Whew, whew, whew. Okay. So we're going to list this late. I'm going to back her up and start her over because she just threw me for a loop. So we're not hiding. We're not hiding. We had to take a restroom break. I've been here for 2 hours. And I probably said pee, and I'm sorry, but that's just me speaking naturally because, yeah, I'm just a mouthy bitch. I don't know. You're coming back to vertical. Okay, come back to vertical. We're hiding behind the sofa. Oh, everybody's hiding. Oh, that's why y'all are a mess. Okay. We're back. I had to take a restroom break. Y'all know my words. I just speak and I don't even think about what I'm saying sometimes. Yeah, I left the room. I leave unattended for like 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes. And my mods, they all decide to hide and they're drowning in the duck pond. They all got out of their lawn chairs and they just decide to dive under the water and they're all going to hide out from me. Oh, y'all know I love you guys. Okay, we're gonna start replaying on this. And I got me a fresh coffee. See that? All filled back up, steaming hot coffee. See how quick I am?
So we've talked a lot here at Katie Fang News about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and others could not have successfully pulled off a multi-decade child sex trafficking ring without the help of others. Now, others could also mean those that were complicit in the actual acts of child rape. Others could also just mean the enablers, those that recruited, those that turned a blind eye, those that facilitated transactions, travel, anything to be able to make that trafficking easier, secret, confidential, and hidden away from authorities. The authorities themselves failed the victims and now survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell.
And as y'all know, on my previous streams, I prefer to call them survivors. I really hate using the word victims. I use the word survivor a lot.
And others. But there was a really interesting article that came out in the Wall Street Journal that I wanted to share with you about a man by the name of Jean-Luc Brunel. Brunel is dead as of today. He mysteriously was hanged in a cell in France, and we're going to get to that in a minute. And if that sounds familiar, yes, that's how Jeffrey Epstein allegedly died while Jeffrey Epstein was in custody here in the United States. But Jean-Luc Brunel's name has surfaced time and time again because he allegedly, from the evidence that we have seen, not only participated in the sexual child sex trafficking, but helped Epstein be able to procure the girls, traveled and was friendly with Epstein on an intimate level. And so that is the reason why his name may sound familiar to you. And yet there was zero efforts made until 2020. And it was only then by Parisian authorities, French authorities, to be able to have Brunel be held accountable for his involvement in Epstein's orbit. So let's dive into that Wall Street Journal article. Let's kind of highlight some of the key parts of it. And then I want to go into the evidence that's been produced by the Department of Justice, redacted and in limited form so far by Pammy Jo, so that we can figure out how to reconcile what we have heard. So
I like this lady. Katie Fang. I will drop this in the chat one more time. So if you want to
what was
watch without my commentary, which you're here for my commentary, but you know, if you want to go watch without it later, it's there.
critical about this article is the fact that as early, I'll say early in quotes, why? Because we knew about Epstein and his sexual and criminal conduct as late as 2007, if not earlier. However, as we know, he got that sweetheart plea deal from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Southern District of Florida, courtesy of Alex Acosta, right? But fast forward to 2016. 2016, Epstein's still alive, Maxwell is alive, Brunel still alive. And in 2016, according to handwritten notes that were taken by the Department of Justice, and this is right here, it says very clearly, February 29th, 2016.
Okay, I'm gonna let her, because y'all know I was fixing to pause, zoom in, we're gonna read this shit, but I think she's gonna read it. So I'm gonna let her read and see if she reads it.
Brunel was secretly negotiating with Brad Edwards.
She didn't read it. See, I gave her the benefit of the doubt and she didn't read the damn thing. So here we go. Let me see if I can make my screen bigger. Nope, that didn't work. That didn't work. Okay, so it says, dude, I can't see what it says. Let's get our Mrs. Kravitz magnifying glass out. It says, large history of litigations, BE, which whoever BE is, they mark that out, and SP, they mark that out. So this is BE. Initial invitation, something Jeffrey Epstein was done by local Palm Beach PD in 2005. Well, Abellis, to answer your question right now, at 6 o'clock Central Time, as far as I know, she is, but that could change at any moment because we know what's going on. Ranched up something 24 girls molested by Jeffrey Epstein, represented about 10 girls. Jeffrey Epstein's MO with adults, they did tell 13-year-old girl, come to rich guy's house to give paid massage. Epstein naked starts as massage, extorted, demand of sex acts. If you want, there's a $sign, it says 20x. Yeah, I don't like vertical either, Abellis. After paid 200/300, the then offered 200 to 300 finder fee, victims recruited other victims, mother complained, and something PD turned case over to FBI and USAO. Most of girls, approximately 40 in Florida, no flight logs issued. GJ subpoenaed. 4 named conspirators entertained in something with Epstein guilty plea on something to 2001, 2007 immunity from federal prosecution and Sex Crimes Commission in Florida, 2001 to 2007. Jim Leffert, Joy Lefwowski, Ken Sturmer, Roy Black. These are Epstein somebody. Martin Weinberg, something Lewis, Jimmy Chevelle.
Brunel was secretly negotiating with Brad Edwards and other lawyers that were representing courageously the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. He was negotiating to basically turn himself in. Brunel was negotiating to turn himself in to the Department of Justice. He feared being arrested, feared being prosecuted, wanted to be able to come in according to these notes and according to the lawyers representing Epstein's victim.
You know, not to throw shade or be a bitch right now, but that weekend in jail stuff is bullshit. I don't agree. Girl, if you are in trouble and you're going to go to jail, you're just going to go to jail, period. I can tell you for a fact, I know somebody personally that because she was pregnant, okay, because she was pregnant and she committed a crime, a very heinous financial crime to a family member, to one of our own family members. And she committed a crime. And because she was pregnant, the judge in Fort Bend County just gave her weekends in jail because they felt sorry for her. Bitch, she did the crime. You do the time. I don't give a shit if you're pregnant. If you I was so angry over that. It was really, really disheartening to know that a local judge in my town where I live gave a family member of mine just jail time for weekends because they stole tens of thousands of dollars from another family member through their business. It's still a crime. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet.
Now, what's fascinating, and we're going to get into the notes in just one second, is that there appeared to be multiple representations by Brunel that he was in possession of photographic evidence and videographic evidence that would have directly implicated Jeffrey Epstein in a series of horrific sex acts involving children. Now, this was in 2016. There was some, apparently, according to these notes, serious movement being made towards Brunel cooperating with the feds. And then Brunel went dark, kind of fell off the radar, right? So when Jeffrey Epstein found out that these negotiations were taking place, what did he do? Well, he ended up immediately reaching out to Kathy Rumler, who we know just stepped down as the head of Goldman Sachs. She's the lawyer that worked in the Obama administration. And I'm looking at emails right now, and it's an email dated May 3rd of 2016 at 2:28 p.m. And he emailed Kathy to say that he spoke to Michael Kadosh, Kadosh, Jean-Luc's friend. He said that Boys, as in Boys Schiller, which was one of the law firms representing some of the victims, including Virginia Giuffre, that Boys got Jean-Luc full immunity and was taking him into the U.S. attorney next Tuesday. Last week, they said it was this week. He asked for $3 million, as in Kadash, asked for $3 million so that Jean-Luc would not go in. Neither he nor Jean-Luc lawyer Titone, that's Joe Titone, and we're going to talk about him as well in a second, are capable of telling the truth. However, he said that Jean-Luc was worried that if he didn't go in on Tuesday, they would arrest him. They are scammers. However, as Sigrid in camera gave what she said was info to the judge regarding an investigation, I want to know more. Sigrid is Sigrid Cawley, who is a partner at Boys Schiller, and again, one of the lawyers representing the Epstein victims. He emailed this to Kathy Rumler. At 7:41 p.m., she responds and says, call me when you get a minute to explain this. At 3:05 a.m. on May 4th, he said, when awake. And on May 4th at 1:44 p.m., she writes, awake now, talking to Poe in 20 minutes. Poe is Gregory Poe, one of Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers. Poe was based out of D.C., and so she was reaching out to Gregory Poe. Now, this is back on May 4th of 2016, and this is the email exchange that we have here. On May 3rd at 10:28 p.m., Epstein had a habit of sending emails and messages to himself to kind of memorialize things. Sometimes I think it was also very convenient. I do think that Jeffrey Epstein, even though he was very keen on having phone conversations, and I think he was doing it to avoid having things incriminating be put in writing, even though we've now seen lots of incriminating evidence in writing. One of the things that Epstein would do is he would say, just pick up the phone and call me at this number, etc. But Epstein emails himself, and this.
I'm going to read this because I'm not sure she's going to read the whole thing. Let's look. She might. She doesn't look like. I'm going to read it. Today at approximately 5:04, I called Michael Kadash to inquire about Jean-Luc. The call lasted for about 7 minutes. And see, I had noticed this too. Y'all got to, my screen that I read on is over here because I have dual screen. So please don't mind me leaning over and like disappearing for a minute. So this was, and I did notice this in me reviewing a whole bunch of the documents in the Epstein files, is that he makes notes to himself, which I found is strange. It's like, like she said, it's memorializing his thoughts. I mean, you know, I have a notebook that I write everything in, you know, and I make a million notes. I mean, I have Ken Starr, George Rush, Sarah Ransom, Stephen Sully, Leslie Wexner, Alicia. I mean, I make notes for what I'm doing. So I get it. But now all this shit's in his emails and everybody's getting to read it. Everybody. So today at approximately 5:00 p.m., I called Michael Kadash to inquire about Jean-Luc. The call lasted for 7 minutes. He told me that boys had gotten Jean-Luc total immunity, that Jean-Luc was going to come to see him on the weekends. For $3 million, Jean-Luc would not go in to speak. $3 million. Keep your mouth shut. He kept telling me, you don't need this Tsuris? Another typo, I guess. Tsuris. He said that he told Jean-Luc that he, as his rabbi, and not to go to an attorney who are only interested in money. He said he wanted to pay off his debt, have some money to make his business better again. He said that after I paid him, we could be friends. After I paid him, we could be friends again. Get the fuck out of here. He said, I told him, why do you want Jeffrey in jail? You told me you know him for 20 years and he's like a brother. He asked that I call him again on Friday. I've sent the email to the attorneys.
Subject is Kadash and Jean-Luc blackmail. And again, I feel like this speaks to Epstein being self-serving when it came to documenting things in his life. This email reads, today at approximately 5:04 p.m., I called Michael Kadash to inquire about Jean-Luc. Now, isn't that interesting? He doesn't tell Kathy in his email that he sent that day to Kathy that he is the one who initiated contact with Michael Kadash. I called Michael Kadash to inquire about Jean-Luc. The call lasted for 7 minutes. He told me that boys had gotten Jean-Luc total immunity, that Jean-Luc was going to come to see him on the weekend. For $3 million, Jean-Luc would not go in to speak. He kept telling me, you don't need this. He said that he told Jean-Luc.
And as we're listening, it is absolutely nuts. I don't know what to even say. I can't even come up with a good joke, a good comment, a good nothing. I'm stunned.
That he, as his rabbi, not to go to attorneys who are only interested in money. He said he wanted to pay off his debt, have some money to make his business better again. He said that after I paid him, we could be friends again. He said, I told him, why do you want Jeffrey in jail? You told me you knew him for 20 years and he is like a brother. He asked that I call him again on Friday. I've sent an email to the attorneys. Again, this is Jeffrey Epstein emailing himself. And in the meantime, he ends up basically dispatching Kathy Rilmer to be able to go and handle what is happening here with this Jean-Luc. He's calling it blackmail. I don't have any independent proof about whether or not there was an ask of $3 million that was done here. But I do think it's important to note, though, that it is contemporaneous, though, with these notes taken February 29th, 2016 by the Department of Justice. It's stunning, right, that we're having this conversation.
But I'm going to pay you $3 million so we can be friends again because you're going to keep your mouth shut, right? Right, Southern? We're going to be friends, but only after you give me $3 million and I will keep my mouth shut and then we can be buddy. Okay? Does that sound cool? You lie. You be, I wouldn't even take the money. I'd be, bitch, please let me tell you everything I fucking know.
Conversation in February 23rd of 2026. This is almost 10 years ago, right? And this means that the feds knew way back when, right? Mid 2000s about Epstein, but they knew that there was shit still going on. But more importantly, they had identifiers about people that were complicit in Epstein's world. And I want to go into these handwritten notes because I think it's really important for you guys to hear this. So Brad Edwards, BE are the initials here. Brad sits down, right, with the feds, and he's explaining the MO, the modus operandi of Jeffrey Epstein, having girls, underage girls, coming to his house to give a paid massage. Epstein's naked, starts as massage, extortionate demand of sex acts. If you want money, you do it. After paying $200, $300, they're offered $200, $300 finder's fee. Victims recruited other victims, right? Police department turned the case over to FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office. Most of girls, approximately 40 plus, are in Florida. Remember, this is back in the 2000s. So again, FBI, U.S. Attorney's Office failed miserably back in the mid 2000s to be able to do something about Epstein, Maxwell, and others. Fast forward on page 2 of these handwritten notes, and it's redacted, but named blank adult recruiter, blank recruited as minor, became recruiter, blank recruiter. Leslie Groff, assistant in New York, recruiters. Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of Robert Maxwell, head recruiter. There were people here. How come other than Ghislaine Maxwell, none of them have been prosecuted? Then, page 2, the bottom half of these handwritten notes by the Department of Justice. One of Epstein's best friends, Jean-Luc Brunel, has helped get girls. He is wanting to cooperate. Wouldn't cooperate during investigation, was served for deposition during civil case in 2009, and he no-showed. In 2015, Brunel sued Jeffrey Epstein for obstruction of justice, who told him not to go to deposition. He says his lawyer, Brunel says lawyer paid by Epstein, duped him into missing his depo. Brunel hired Joe Titone in Miami for the lawsuit. Titone says his client, who, by the way, still representing Brunel. Titone says his client has photographic evidence, doesn't know ages of girls, mostly young, and that Brunel took photos without knowledge of subjects. Titone doesn't know how to handle this. Brunel wants
Now, there has been some photos that have come out that I'm not sure I have a video of that right now, but it's under my Epstein stuff to go with the Epstein stuff. I didn't put it in the Prince Andrew stuff, but there are photos that he didn't know that we're taking that are coming out of him with younger girls. Like I seen one like on this little duck, a duck pond. It was a little boat on a little pond thing, and there was another one at a restaurant. Yeah, so there are photos out there. It's Les Wexner, which Les Wexner is also was the CEO of Victoria's Secrets, The Limited, and many other things.
Epstein prosecuted and wants money. Brunel, this is page 3. Brunel doesn't want to implicate himself, recently denied photos to Stan at Boy Schiller's office. Brunel told friend Alan, last name unknown, that he has photos made years ago. Titone said Brunel lives in Paris, has a friend named Michael Kadosh in Miami. Friend and rabbi said to Titone, Brunel told me he has photos. Kadosh spoke with attorney in Paris for Brunel, who advised him that if he has photos, he should destroy them at once. Brunel is afraid of being prosecuted. And the handwritten notes are worth looking at because they clearly document conversations about victims that have very specific identifiers, locations like the Virgin Islands, where Epstein did a lot of his abuse, other places, including private jets. Epstein has photos in house in Palm Beach and New York, U.S. Virgin Islands. One photo is of a photo of blank with another girl, naked in sexual pose. Photos of naked girls on Maxwell's computer. Blank says cameras all over New York house. She believes they were used for extortion or blackmail by Epstein. When lent out to other men, had to report back. Videos recording in bathroom. Maxwell and Brunel took sexually explicit photos of her regularly. Maxwell gave photo to Epstein for birthday at age 16. Photo hung in one of the homes, saved on computers. Sex acts on.
So we all know, we've seen photos, which one day we may do some of those, go through some of those photos, but I've seen photos out there of these pictures, these very sexually oriented pictures that hung on his walls that were like, what? Yes, Ava, yes, he was a rabbi. They're wanting the rabbi to talk to him instead of an attorney, and silence. And $3 million.
I mean, there is a level of specificity here. Concern, active pedophile. This is back in 2016, right? And remember, that indictment from the Southern District of New York didn't happen until when? 2019. Page 8, Scotland Yard investigation, all about Prince Andrew's situation. Will send me contact info active in all caps. They audio recorded interview. As young as 12, but younger, the better. Okay, so we know that this debrief is happening in 2016 with the Department of Justice, but the DOJ doesn't actually do anything until late 2018 and then indicts Epstein in 2019. The prosecutor who took these February 2016 notes later told Justice Department officials, according to the Wall Street Journal, that she discussed that meeting with her colleagues in the U.S. Attorney's Office and with the FBI, but no investigation was opened, according to a 2021 government filing. Prosecutors in Paris this past weekend said that they're going to re-examine the case of Jean-Luc Brunel. Brunel, again, is dead.
So they say they're going to re-examine it, and now, poof, where is he? He's gone. He's gone. Excuse me. So, should former Prince Andrew be more worried?
I will remind you, Brunel ended up being found dead February of 22, hanged in his prison cell, but he was caught by French police in December of 2020 at a Parisian airport as he attempted to board a flight to Senegal, taken into custody, charged with sex crimes. Again, so looks like the Europeans are on it, albeit very late, but they're on it, just like we've seen now with former Prince Andrew. But the prosecutors now saying they're going to reinvestigate this case of Brunel and set up a special team to analyze the evidence that could implicate French nationals that were involved in the Epstein orbit. Brunel started his original modeling company with funding from Jeffrey Epstein, and then he and Epstein started a company called MC2 Model Management, which opened its offices in New York and Miami back in 2005. Epstein used that modeling agency to procure women and as a payroll vehicle to get work visas for young women to bring them here to the United States. Brunel visited Epstein 70 times when he was jailed in Florida in 2008, traveled on Epstein's private jet, visited Epstein's private home, and apparently both Epstein and Brunel, again, participated in these sex acts with young girls. These two men were so close, and in 2012, a version back in 2012 of Jeffrey Epstein's trust listed Brunel as a beneficiary for as much as $5 million. Footnote. Great question and line of questioning to ask next month in March when the longtime executors, co-executors, Darren Indake and Khan, I forget the guy's first name, are going to be questioned by House Oversight. Also, apparently, there was testimony provided in 2010 by the former financial controller and bookkeeper of that modeling agency that Epstein and Brunel had together. This woman, Maritza Vasquez, testified under oath in a civil lawsuit in 2010 that the models were placed in Epstein-controlled apartments and visas were arranged specifically to obtain underage girls. Brunel and Epstein also relied on a common recruiter by the name of Daniel Syed to find girls and women in other countries. And there is email documentation that shows that he was being used to be able to recruit and obtain these younger girls. Virginia Giuffre testified that that Brunel trafficked girls, including herself, to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, what's amazing to me is I would love to know if $3 million ended up going to Jean-Luc Brunel, because again, he fell off the radar. After all of this in-depth debriefing with the Department of Justice, he falls off the radar. Brunel is not coming forward. And he purportedly had all of this information, including photographic evidence that he could have used against Jeffrey Epstein. In 2015, this is before this debrief with the Department of Justice, Joe Titone, who purportedly is representing Jean-Luc Brunel, emails in August of 2015 Jack Goldberger, who is a
This woman did her research. I don't even know what to say to her. I don't even know what to comment to her research. I'm in awe of, it's just my words are not there. Whew.
Local criminal defense attorney in Palm Beach who represents Jeffrey Epstein, telling him that an author by the name of John Connolly reached out to Titone about the fact that he's writing a book on Jeffrey Epstein. He's a writer for Vanity Fair, and that he wanted to know about the status of Brunel's case against Jeffrey Epstein. Titone, representing Brunel, emails Jack Goldberger, representing Epstein. Goldberger then forwards that email to whom? Jeffrey Epstein. But then he also forwards it to who? Michael Wolff. Epstein forwards it to Michael Wolff. And Wolff is now giving advice about John Connolly, the author, telling Epstein, you should get a handle on this. It would be good to have someone call Connolly, perhaps this lawyer, as in Goldberger, to get the
Connolly has a history of not delivering or of delivering unreliable stuff that can't be used. A letter to a lawyer saying, keep me posted sounds more lazy than aggressive. Having said that, it's easier to get away with unverified crap in a book than it is in a big magazine. Also, as I think I mentioned to you, I heard something about Connolly doing the research for a book that would be authored by someone else. I heard James Patterson, which would mean the book would have massive sales. Patterson is a new type of publishing. He's a best-selling crime brand with a variety of crime books sold under his name. Up till now, it's been mostly fiction, but I heard they're trying to expand to real-life crime. Anyway, you should get a handle on this. It would be good to have someone call Connolly, perhaps his lawyer, and get the basic background. Who's the publisher? What's the prospective publishing date, etc. At broken record risk, you can certainly count on Connolly or somebody coming back to bite you, and ought to be planning for it defensively and otherwise.
The basic background. It's incestuous, is it not?
Very.
I think it is. But as I mentioned, in December of 2020, Jean-Luc Brunel was placed under formal investigation by French authorities on suspicion of sex crimes. He was accused of sexual harassment and rape of minors aged between 15 and 18, and he was caught as he was trying to get a flight to Senegal. I suspect Senegal probably has non-extradition, right? And then in February of 2019, February 2019, Joe Titone is reaching out to the Office of Professional Responsibility at the Department of Justice, writing Mr. Boyd saying, I represent blank, a longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein, Jean-Luc Brunel. My client, Jean-Luc Brunel, is willing to give testimony in the above investigation. I believe Jean-Luc Brunel's testimony will be helpful to your investigation. It will include details of obstruction of justice. Come on, people, right? It is stunning to me that there was all of this information being provided in real time. And yet, think about how many poor people and victims were abused and were preyed upon because either this lead just was not followed up on. I mean, it is.
I know, I did too. You know, it's blacked out. We're not supposed to know. It's redacted, but we're smart enough to read between the lines, you know. But I did. I liked how she whispered it.
Such a failure of the system for these victims. It is an outrage to think about what injustices were perpetuated and for as long. And we know, listen, we know that the victims were coming forward as early as the 2000s, and they were either marginalized, ignored, or shelved, lied to.
Yes.
Things were hidden from them. I mean, it's just so egregious. And yet, as
everybody that came out was basically told, shut up, you know, you don't have the money, you don't have the power, you can't speak on this, you're lying. I mean, you see all these women coming together and they're saying, yes, this happened to me too. Yes, I did go to school and bring my friend to come with me to go give this man a $200 massage. And I got an extra $200 for getting that. You know, come on.
As we sit here now, Trump's DOJ continues to perpetrate, to re-traumatize and re-victimize the victims and the survivors of Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and others. This Jean-Luc Brunel angle is so important because it truly kind of gave that veneer of legitimacy, because it was a modeling agency, and you have these young girls and they're being brought to the US and they're being flown all over the world, and they're made all these promises, and they're vulnerable and young, and they don't have money and they have nowhere to stay, and they're in these Epstein controlled apartments, and their visas are tied to their employment as models, and they're just looking for their big break. And all of these horrible promises that are made to these young girls, many of whom are under the age of 18, many of whom are foreign nationals. These promises are being made, and they're all being just destroyed, not just broken. The stolen innocence, the stolen youth, any sense of peace being just crushed by people like Epstein, Maxwell, Jean-Luc Brunel, others. And yet the system that was supposed to help them in this amazing country of the United States of America, right? The biggest, baddest law enforcement agency in the world failed them for decades. We're going to keep digging, right? Because it's not just
Okay. So we are definitely content going to get more on that. When I get more into going back to Epstein, I was trying to specifically keep this towards former Prince Andrew's downfall today. But we are going to continue to do more streams on this. So there will be streams where we will go through some pictures and some files. I'm going to play this one next. This is a little short 3-minute video about his backseat video picture. And let's hear what she has to say.
If you're into the news.
And I appreciate everything you do, content. And if you haven't realized it yet, you are in the, you should be if you aren't, in the Discord, and you can always drop things to me in there. So what channel is this? Build a Lie? Welcome, Johnny Squatto Bomb. Yes, we're a review channel. And I build, I don't know, a shit show. Have a good day.
Like we are. Your eyes would have been graced by this particular frame when you first woke up this morning. This is Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor leaving a police station after he was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. So let's break down why this photo and many others like it are not really that flattering.
There's y'all's bark warning. Sorry, I don't think I gave a bark warning today. But you know what? that happens in my house. So sorry.
To the subject, getting a photograph like this is actually really difficult. The photographers will often wait for hours on end to get that one single frame. And unfortunately, often these pictures are taken in cars, behind tinted windows, and it's often really dark. And so what does that mean the photographers will often use in dark situations? They need to use their flash units. That's because they need to expose the subject correctly. And without having any flash, it would essentially just be a dark car. Traditionally, flash units like this are called speedlights, and they're attached to the top of a camera. And what they do is they emit a huge burst of light in a quick second to freeze the motion of what they're looking at. In this particular situation, they've used really bright flash to make sure that Mountbatten is exposed correctly. So a consequence of using high-powered speedlights or flash units is that you get these little red eye reflections in the subject. The other thing that happens is a pretty blue color balance. You find that images like this can often look quite cold unless you ramp up the warm color temperature in post-production. And then, of course, there's the element of surprise. So you have to imagine in a situation like this, everything the subject is looking at is often dark, and there are flash units popping constantly in your face. And so you tend to find that the subjects look a little bit bewildered or a bit shocked or a bit surprised because they really didn't know it was coming. The other thing about this frame is that he's trying to hide. So you'll see he's crouched right down. The composition of his body is really awkward, but that's because he's trying to escape all of the cameras because he knows that this is going to be front page news the next day. Another example of this type of photography is this one. So this is an image taken by Martin Keep of AFP. This is Erin Patterson from the infamous mushroom trial. She's in the back of a police van on her way to court. Now, traditionally, photojournalists in Melbourne don't tend to follow police vans like this because they know that the image is almost impossible to get. And that's for a couple of reasons. The tinting on these vans is so dark that generating enough flash to cut through is really difficult. The other element is the speed that the van is going at. You have to imagine photojournalists are trying to keep up with that van to hold the camera up against the window for long enough to get that shot, but short enough so they don't get run over. Martin's way around this was to create his own rig. He had 2 speedlights, not one, which meant he had more power, and he also had a modified lens hood. So the result of this was an image that had no red eyes, no reflections of the photographer, and a perfectly exposed frame. Photographers often get sent on assignments like this, really not knowing what they're going to come back with. Sometimes they have an image that is not sharp enough, not well exposed, or the composition is just off. But every now and again, they get an image which ends up being the global face of that story.
And makes front page news. Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to go to a little bit of comedy. Okay. This is, I found this so funny. Let me see. Hang on. I think I have, wait, we'll take a dog break first, y'all. We're going to take a dog break. We're going to take one dog break. Okay. Y'all ready? We're going to do one dog break, and then we're going to get to these people of where Prince Andrew had moved to. It's quite comical. Whether they want to have tea with him or not, it's quite funny, but it's just for a little kind of refresher to get us a little bit back on the upside instead of all the down dump.
Here's the truth, dudes. Humans keep buying stuff, but dogs keep choosing love.
And I know what you're thinking. You're looking at us like, easy for you guys. You're hosting a podcast in a luxury pool.
But guess what, bros? This stuff ain't real. Some might even say it's like artificial.
And honestly, none of the shiny stuff truly matters. For reals, food and vet bills are legit. And we totally respect the hustle for that.
Like, let's look at the toys. Our humans spend big bucks on the ultra tough SmartBone 3000 Mega Edition.
And don't get me wrong, we totally love toys. But you guys have to admit, we have the same fun playing with an old sock.
Okay, wait, unless you're Lola and you just got through chewing up your daddy's shoe and got in trouble, right? Yes, the tail kills me. These dogs are so cute. And little known fact, I don't know if Hio has told y'all or not, but Tolly, the very tip of Tolly's tail is white. She has a very little white tip. So be looking for a little photo of that when Hio actually puts her out there more. I know, the old sock. Everybody likes that old sock.
A crusty sock has a very high flavor profile, man. It's like totally vintage. It's seasoned with you.
And the wrapping paper, dude. Sometimes I prefer running around the house with the cardboard box more than the thing that's inside.
Wow, this is like the best present in the whole world. And wait until I show Albert my super cool helmet.
In Dog Logic Dip, a $50 toy and a free box can bring the exact same amount of joy to a super cool dude's life.
Then there is the dream house. Dudes, if you are crushing it and have the mansion, huge respect. We love a big yard.
Totally, bro. Secure that perimeter, like right now. But here's the secret truth, humans.
You could have 100 rooms, dude.
Okay, wait. He bumped his face on the microphone and his microphone moved. I'm sorry, squirrel. What? Y'all, I have to rewind it. He bumped his face on the microphone and it moved. I just had a flash.
We love a big yard.
Totally, bro. Secure that perimeter, like right now. But here's the secret truth, humans.
You could have 100 rooms, dudes, but where is the dog gonna be? Right on your foot, by your side, tripping you up while you make coffee.
Oh, okay. That's enough love for the moment. Okay. So we're going to go back over here. Y'all, we have to take those breathers and refreshers every now and again. Keep our sanity through all of this. Yes, Abellis.
A disgraced former prince is retrieved.
But listen, this is quite funny, okay? This is disgraced, and Andrew Windsor moves into an unspectacular marsh farm. This was 2 weeks ago. Okay, so it's kind of funny. It is kind of funny.
Retreating to the quiet countryside.
Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor is understood to have moved from his Windsor mansion to the sand.
And this was recorded before his arrest. So now I would sure like to go back and have these people re-interviewed.
Sandringham estate, following pressure over his ties with Jeffrey Epstein.
But not all of his neighbours are happy about his arrival. What do you make of your new neighbour who's moving around here?
He's let the whole country down. He's let his family down.
We've come to the surrounding areas to see if he'll get a royal welcome. You're not buying him a pint, basically?
Oh, no, man.
No.
We just arrived here in Wolverton and it is deadly quiet. There is nothing really that happens round here. The Andrew, formerly known as Prince, is moving in nearby. It's right close to Sandringham. The neighbours here, the locals here, are pretty used to rubbing shoulders with royalty. But what do they make of their new neighbour? So you guys decided on your free day today to go out and what did you want to do?
Pop and see where Andy's going.
What do you make of the house? You've just been past it.
It's a lovely house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky.
What do you think about him moving in around here? Are you guys relaxed about it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we are relaxed. You know, it is what it is. But living in Norfolk out here, you'll enjoy it.
You'll enjoy it?
Yeah.
Nice views?
Absolutely. Couple of pubs to go to.
Yeah. Is he welcome for a cup of tea or anything, do you think, going to the local pub?
Well, I know they do frequent Great Massingham. There's a nice pub there.
Okay.
Some of the Royals go to. So,
yeah.
Okay, we didn't just dox out where the Royals go to or anything, but shh, they go to the local pub, okay? And that's where they see them at. What in the hell? What? Excuse me? And question, knowing what they know, sure, come hang out. Excuse me?
we'll have to wait and see whether he wants to venture further afield.
It's all been blown up.
You think it's been blown up, what, the whole thing, or not?
Okay. He's a popular guy. He was. He's not so popular now, but that's with the press. Okay.
Yeah, I think my thoughts will stick back to being a school kid, 1982, Falklands War. And at that time, he was a bit of a hero. Obviously, things change, and he is where he is today.
Yeah. Well, those two are actually very nice. Nice of them to stop and have a chat with me. But it's interesting them saying that they think the whole thing is overblown and that they don't actually mind Andrew moving in and being their near neighbour.
That was my thought too. They're just okay. Should they sleep with one eye open? Do they have probably grandchildren? Just me speaking out loud, me speaking my thoughts. Do they have grandchildren that live in the neighborhood also? Should they not be concerned? I mean, yeah, he's probably going to keep a really low profile now, but they're not bothered by this. Okay.
But those living closer to the former prince's soon-to-be home were not as keen to speak. There's no chance I could ask you a quick question, is there? About your new neighbour? No. Have a nice day. Can I ask you about Prince Andrew? No. No. Sorry. No one wants to talk. It's now starting to get a bit busy around here. I mean, you can hear a pin drop earlier. Now we've got helicopters up above. I think I know the reason they're here. We're told it's round here, Andrew's place. In fact, I think we might hit the jackpot. This man's going. Hello. Is this where Andrew lives?
Okay, y'all. I'm going to make one of the worst jokes. I'm going to make one of the worst jokes. Is this man the JLR of the UK? Is this man the JLR of the UK that's just going to walk anywhere and talk to anybody and everybody? I kind of like him. I'll drop this in chat when we're done reviewing it, and y'all can watch it without my commentary.
Do you know if this is where Andrew lives? Prince Andrew, no?
No.
Oh, okay. What were you doing? Were you just delivering parcels?
Yeah.
Oh, fine. I think you might have been delivering to a royal there, an ex-royal.
Really?
Yeah, that's Andrew's new house.
No, you're lying.
No, I'm not lying. That's where Andrew's going to...
The guy in the truck says, no, you're lying. The guy in the truck, no, you're lying.
Move to?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had no idea? What was the name on the parcel? It wasn't Andrew.
No, there's businesses around it.
Is there? Yeah. But it wasn't a Mountbatten-Windsor on the name of the parcel. Okay. All right. Have a nice day. Thank you. Right. Well, I think we found the place. Marsh Farm. Now, Andrew will eventually move here, which is Marsh Farm, which is on the sort of Sandringham estate, but it's quite unspectacular. I mean, he's used to that 30-room Royal Lodge in Windsor. This is very much a sort of red brick cottage that he'll be moving into. Still very nice, by the way. I think it's got around 5 bedrooms, so not quite as many. It's got a couple of reception rooms, we hear, but it's...
I want to know who paid for the house. Was it a royally owned house and they're just letting him move in there? I have questions. Because my house isn't that nice.
Been really bustling with activity the last few weeks because we've seen delivery drivers coming and going. There's been builders, there have been all sorts of people, someone installing TV satellites to keep him occupied. But this is going to be the new home of Andrew. It's so quiet and it's really hidden here. I mean, if you want a place to escape, then this is probably best. There is in fact, I thought that was a bus stop. It doesn't look like there are any buses or timetables, so you can't even get a bus around here. It's going to be very quiet, very secluded for Andrew. After exhausting our options in Wolverton, where there are only around 100 residents, we went to explore nearby villages, which Andrew may frequent. Hello. How do you feel about Andrew being your new neighbour? How do you feel about Andrew being your new neighbour?
Well, I live in Kings Lynn, so I'm far enough
You're far enough away. Would you think about it broadly, though? Have you seen a lot of people around here?
No, not really.
No? And lastly, what do you think about him moving in?
Well, like I say, it won't really affect me, so...
No.
I doubt I'll be rubbing shoulders with him in the pub, so...
All right. Fair.
Again, another one talking about the pub. I mean, hey, we all have our little spots to go get a beer or two on a Friday night or something. What the fuck is this about a pub? Everybody Hi. Hi, did you want to come say hi? Come on, baby. Come on, get up. Come on, you can come up. Come on up. Okay, we have a visitor. Somebody wanted to come say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Lola wanted to come say hi. Hi, baby. You just need to see what mommy was doing. You knew mommy needed a break. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, we had a Lola moment. You know how that goes. She got to come see. Okay. Okay. All right. Pups. You mean pubs? Yeah, that's your Lola. Yeah. She's a good girl. She just couldn't come. Okay. Okay. You go now.
Enough. Have a good one. Thank you. Cheers. Goodbye. People very friendly around here. Very friendly. And actually saying that they doubt they'll be rubbing shoulders with him, but they're not angry. They're just disappointed. Now, the good news is that his local pub is only a 5-minute drive away. So the Black Horse at Castle Rising looks like it's going to be his local. We're going to head in and see what the punters make of it. What a lovely pub. Now, this is only 5 minutes.
Okay, y'all know I don't watch all these through. I watched part of it. I didn't know he went to the okay, get down, baby. Get down because you're gonna knock mommy's coffee off. Okay, go on. Go play with Bubba. Okay. I see I didn't watch all of it, so y'all know, okay, raw reaction here. I did not watch all of this. I did not know he went to the actual pub. So okay, here we go. We're at the pub.
We're gonna head in.
I know. I was so trying not to go there, Bellis. Keep your animals locked up, your children locked up, your wives locked up. Keep them all locked up. Oy vey.
See what the punters make of it. What a lovely pub. Now, this is only 5 minutes down the road from where Andrew is moving into. And obviously right by Sandringham. Do you get many royals in here already?
We do get them from time to time. I mean, generally speaking, because we have the church next door, and they tend to do a circuit there. So when they come, whether it be Edward or Princess Anne, one of them, they tend to.
I'm sorry, what? What does a church? Okay. Somebody explain to me, what does a church next door have to do with a pub? Right? You want a pint and a pork pie? I don't know. Oh, that sounds. Ooh. Yeah, right, Cindy. That's what threw me. That's why I had to stop because my mind squirreled. He was talking about a church, and then he said they come to the pub. What? Okay, rewind, guys. Y'all know me. I this.
Get many royals in here already?
We do get them from time to time. I mean, generally speaking, because we have the church next door, and they tend to do a circuit there. So when they come, whether it be Edward or Princess Anne, one of them, they tend to pop in, have a drink from time to time.
If Andrew does want to pop by for a pint of beer, he's more than welcome, is he?
As long as he comes with cash, that's not a problem.
And you're probably expecting him in at some point then,
right? I would expect him to pop in at some point.
He said cash. He said Prince Andrew needs to bring cash. What the fuck? Okay, see how dirty. I just so went sideways with that. He needs to bring cash, y'all. Prince Andrew. I must need to. Cindy, I know nothing about it. I know nothing about British culture other than that's where Hannah lives. That's all I can tell you. Hannah lives there. The Queen passed away, and now we have a King Charles. Oh, yeah, right. Cash only, no credit for Andrew. What is happening? Oh my God. They go to church, and then hang out the pub. It's more social than just okay. Well, I guess that's like I remember back. Good Lord, I was a teenager. Let's just say in the 80s. In the 80s. I would go to a church with my best friend on Sundays, and afterwards everybody went to like this meeting hall or something, and there was always a whole bunch of food and desserts and everything after church. And I found it to be the most coolest thing for everybody just to go hang out and eat. We just ate. The king is the head of the Church of England. Huh? The king is the head of the church. So that means Charles is the head of the Church of England. Abellis is a Canadian Brit. What? Y'all are confusing me. I'm gonna hit play on this. I'm lost.
For one of them, they tend to pop in and have a drink from time to time.
If Andrew does want to pop by for a pint of beer, he's more than welcome, is he?
As long as he comes with cash, that's not a problem.
And you're probably expecting him in at some point then, right?
I would expect him to pop in at some point. Yeah. I mean, with a close proximity to Sandringham, only 5 minutes down the street. So generally speaking, I don't know where else he's going to go. So
yeah,
he's more than welcome here as long as he comes to spend some money.
You think the locals will be all right with him? They have a chat with him or leave him alone, do you reckon?
I think it might be a split decision.
What do you make of him moving in nearby? Because you'll be sort of near neighbours or...
Well, I think we're totally ambivalent, really. It's, I don't expect, one will see anybody. Or the only thing I expect we'll notice is perhaps an increased police presence.
Yeah. And helicopters I've seen up above and everything.
There's always, we get lots of planes anyway.
Oh, true. How about you? Any thoughts on him moving in?
It's a pity he's not staying where he was.
Pity he's not staying where he was.
She said it's a pity he's not staying where he was.
Not welcome him for a cup of tea.
No.
Now, there's a lot of local politics in areas like this. Facebook groups are going wild. So we've come to speak with a local parish council.
Look! Y'all look! Ducks crossing. I'm sorry. Squirrel. Oh my God, I feel like a kid right now. Look at my sign. It's my sign. Okay, I need to clip that. I need to clip this sign. Okay. Oh my God, it's my sign. Y'all, I had a sign from the whole neighborhood of Prince Andrew. They left me a sign. Y'all, look. Okay, back to reading. I'm sorry. I got too excited. I seen a duck sign. British, we have our constitution here in Canada, but we're the Commonwealth with Australia. See, I don't know my history like this. Charles bought or invested in a country house, and the folks were not thrilled either. Not everyone likes the royals. Now, I remember that. I remember him buying a country house and something. And divorced he did because they couldn't have children. Turns out it was Henry being the one at fault. Yeah, Henry threw blanks, as they say. Whew.
You, as someone who knows the area well, knows the local people, given your time on the parish council, how do you react to Andrew moving in nearby?
To be honest, I don't think people will be overly thrilled to know that he's going to be our neighbour. But it's hard to say, isn't it? It's a very testy subject. And like so many people are saying on the TV, think about the victims of all the people. So it's a bit of a sensitive subject, I think, really. And
you personally, do you have a view?
Well, I sort of grew up in a family who were very old-fashioned, and I always remember my mum sort of saying, "Oh, Randy Andy." I don't know if you can say
Randy
that.
Andy.
But he always has been a bit of a Jack the Lad, and I just think people don't change, and we've all got members of our family who are a bit of a pain, and but families have to try and stick together and support each other. So no matter what people do in their lifetime, it's unfortunate, but no doubt his family will support him. And it's unfortunate, but we've got him as a neighbour.
Yeah.
So.
What will you say if you walk past him? I mean, will you say hello, or do you think you just?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that sort of person that holds a grudge, but I mean, it's such a.
Okay, I'm gonna let her finish talking. I paused her because she said I'm not the kind of person who holds a grudge, but I was fixing to say, if it was your child, would you feel different? Okay, but I'm gonna let her finish speaking because I don't know what she was gonna say.
And, it's unfortunate, but we've got him as a neighbour.
Yeah.
So.
What will you say if you walk past him? I mean, will you say hello, or do you think you just?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that sort of person that holds a grudge, but I mean, it's such a terrible subject, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I would acknowledge him, but
Wouldn't invite him in for a cup of tea.
I probably wouldn't want to go and have a drink down the local pub with him, to be honest.
Do you mind if I ask you a question or not? What do you make of your new neighbour who's moving in?
You know, I'm sorry, lady, but I wouldn't rub shoulders with him, much less rub toes with him. I'd hold a grudge. Yes, he.
Around here.
Well, I don't think much of him at all, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I think he's let the whole country down. He's let his family down.
And you're used to royalty around here, sort of, because you're right close by it.
We are, yeah. We often go and walk there. We've seen the Queen several times out on her own. You know, she just comes out in her old Land Rover and the way she goes.
Yeah. So you're disappointed in how this has all panned out?
Well, I'm disappointed with him. I think his, as I said, he's let the whole family down. Well, he's let the country down with his attitude and what he's done.
Yeah.
And that's all.
And lastly, if you see him, if you walk past him, would you say hello to him, or?
Not particularly. No, I don't think so.
No, there's no pints around the corner.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think many of the villagers would speak to him, to be quite honest.
Really?
I think they're all a bit anti. Yes.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely
You're
day.
welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All the best. Bye-bye. There we go. Peeps, there's a real mix. There's some people who think this is all blown out of proportion, and others.
I think that in Australia, there's been some also, John. I'm not really sure. And yes, it is very sad that America has really dropped the ball with a lot of this, but we'll see what happens. I know that Lex Wessner had a interview the other day. I intend to get to that this week, so stay tuned. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, put your notification bells on, because I go live every once in a while. Sometimes today will be twice a day. I plan on going live again, probably about midnight. We're going to watch This Is Fixing to End. I got one more short video after this, and I got about 8 more tabs that I wanted to do on this. So we'll probably pick up a part 2 later tonight.
Who say they don't really want him here. What do you think of your new neighbour?
Which one?
Andrew.
Like, oh, you know, second thought, I'll wait and see.
Okay. Do you want to have a chat with us or not?
Sorry?
Do you want to have a quick chat with us?
You say Andrew, and almost because I've been off work for 14 days.
Oh,
Andrew who?
Windsor, Mountbatten-Windsor.
Oh,
Princess.
oh.
Yeah.
No, I mean, okay.
Can we ask you a very quick question? Only be
Go
30
on.
seconds. What do you think of your new neighbour, Andrew?
Not a lot. I think what he's done, he should pay for. And also, anybody that's done anything wrong like that regarding children, young ladies, or anything like that should be held responsible.
And if you pass him on the streets, if you see him at the local pub?
I don't think I would, but I wouldn't ignore him, because I'm not that type of person. I would acknowledge him,
Right.
but I wouldn't want to get into a conversation with him.
That is the most respectful answer. I would acknowledge him, but as far as having a conversation, fuck you. No, thank you.
You're not buying him a pint, basically.
Oh, no, man. He has to buy me a pint. He's got more money than me. But no, I mean, I would be sociable.
Right.
Because everybody, to a certain extent, serves a second chance. But he has to man up and own up to what he's done. And
Okay, this man has a point. He might deserve a second chance, but he has to own up to it and admit to it, and that's not about to happen. But carry on, sir. We'll listen to you. I like you, but, you know.
everybody, to a certain extent, serves a second chance. But he has to man up and own up to what he's done, admit to his wrongdoings. And if he admits to his wrongdoings, a lot more people might think a lot more of him. It's the fact that he's lied to his back teeth all the way.
Now, we've been here all day to find out what people think. What's really interesting is the villages seem to be split. There are
Not
those
for this.
who think Andrew shouldn't be moving in here. They're unhappy that he's going to be one of their neighbours. But others who are sort of saying he deserves a second chance, or they'll welcome him to village life. They might not necessarily be friends with him, but they'll certainly acknowledge him. There's actually one woman I spoke with who said she thought the Epstein pictures were potentially AI. So there's a lot
Oh, why?
A lot of discussion here, a lot of politics going on. It's been very busy around here. Normally you can hear a pin drop, but it's currently bustling with activity. And I think given their new neighbour, that's going to continue for years to come.
Whoo. Okay, let me see. I had one more little one. Let's see. This one is actually 17 minutes long. The one I wanted to do on Sarah. I have so much more that I want to cover. We've been here for 3.5 hours. I'm not sure who, but Hio might be, maybe allegedly somebody might be going live. I will be back at midnight. And we will continue where we left off at midnight with a whole bunch more stuff that we're doing. I just have some stuff put together. I need a break. I need to feed mom. I need to take the dogs out and all that. We've been here for 3.5 hours, but I do want you to know I appreciate every one of y'all for being here, and I will be back later tonight. We're getting back on a schedule, and Hector's working long hours, so I have till 5 a.m. So again, I don't know. Who are them people? Yeah, who are them people? Those are those people you're supposed to be dropping their link in the chat. Miss Wrench. But it's okay. We love you. But anyways, yeah, I'll be back at midnight, my time. It is 7. Well, my clock says 7:14. I know it's wrong. It's probably closer to 7:30 because, you know, Sheila doesn't know how to fix a clock on a computer. But anyways, I'll be back at midnight, my time central. So y'all take care. And as always, until I see y'all then, peace. Rubber out. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Oh, spay and neuter your dogs. Don't forget, spay and neuter all your animals. That is very important. Y'all have a great rest of your night.
Life's alright.